live. We are live on YouTube. We are live. We are live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook. Happy, what day is it? Wednesday. How was it yesterday? I almost missed Taco Tuesday. How is it even possible that a guy like Maddix would almost miss Taco Tuesday? Wow, I literally believed for almost 4 hours yesterday that it was Wednesday. You know how happy I was to find out Instagram on YouTube. Do you know how happy I was to find out that it was only, what, Tuesday, Wednesday? It's Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. We got Jennifer here all the way from Pennsylvania. Look over here on Instagram. Tell me where you're watching from. We got my buddy Kevin here. Who's live, who's watching. We got Shy here. We got Carlos. Who's doing Carlos? Chris Bacon in the house. How fired up are you about life, my friend? Tell me what's going on in Oklahoma. I met somebody yesterday from Oklahoma. You're from San Diego. I love San Diego. I've lived in San Diego before. Good morning, Sherry. Sherry is sharing. Share cares. Where have I been, buddy? That's a great question. That's a book title right there. Where have I been? I'd love to know myself, Chris. Wouldn't you love to know where they take us while we sleep? Hey, John Fon in the house. You starting your pod? I think you're about number 24. What's going on, John Fon? Everybody loved having you and Chris Bacon live. What's up, Susan? How you doing? Boy, it's a treat to have Susan. We got Jesus live over here on Instagram. Don't underestimate Jesus' power to show up on Morning with Maddix. We got Jesus over here watching. Jesus, how you doing? Chris wants to know, where have I been? What am I seeing in the spirit? Whoa, what am I seeing? I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing while others are peeing. You know, guys, it's kind of like this. I am seeing that anybody who doesn't believe in the supernatural, anybody who doesn't believe that we are literally in a supernatural realm and we are experiencing the supernatural on the daily. We are interacting with the supernatural on the daily. It would shake you guys if your physical eyes were opened to the spirit world around us. Hey, it's land, it's air, and it's water, and all three of them have frequencies. All three of them are very powerful. And what I'm seeing in the spirit is a massive return to nature. I don't understand how we haven't progressed in 2023. We're still, the majority of our church services and conferences are inside. When we are people of the mountains, people of the water, we are people of nature. That a boy, Chris. You buried 600 feet of water line at the church, man. Chris, you're always just out there doing it, Bubba. You know it? That's what I love about you. You know, I got to thinking on Morning with Maddix, I should start having people come on just to say hi, 5-10 minutes, you know, here and there. But it'd be cool. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I want to say something. We got Renee shifting gears in the house on Facebook. Renee, I got one question for you and one question only. How you doing? How's Instagram? Instagram's alive, aren't they? They thrive. You hear me? They can give me a high five. And YouTube, they're faithful. Hey, don't sleep on YouTube. Are you guys shocked that no, I'm telling you, what I'm seeing in the spirit is a return to nature. I really believe that the greatest revival will not happen indoors. Go look at, what's that Kentucky thing? Lines of people would drive from all over America
to go see that when you can be experiencing that? You ready for this? How did they have the revival? Nobody went home. Nobody went to the restaurants. Nobody went to bed. But you're going to drive all over America, fly all over America, so you can stand in line for hours just to see the people who were willing to stay. The people who said, we're not going to bed. We're not going to the restaurants. We're not going to our jobs. Even if we lose it all, we're staying here until revival breaks loose. Guys, it's kind of like everybody kept wanting the secrets. It's like when people would have me come in for soul winning seminars and you just crossed the Arizona state line. Well, hope you come by and say hi, Renee. Hope you come by and say hi and get a Maddix hug. My hugs heal. Man, I am an energy field myself. Hugging me is like getting a recharge. It's like getting healing flow through your body. I mean, I'm a hugging healer is what I am. If you suck at hugging in life, there is no excuse to get on this earth and suck at hugging. How do you suck at hugging? You ever seen people that give shitty hugs? It's just like, wow, I would rather have not have hugged you to have received this bad of a hug. Yep, Chris Bacon said it. The days of four-wall church are coming to a close because you cannot put a Holy Ghost revival in four walls. It cannot contain it. Cannot, will not. And the buildings were great. We needed them for a season, a reason, a season, but it was treason. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I got to share something with everybody on Morning with Maddix. Can I confess something? I'm going to go ahead and confess something. What are you saying? You got a good hug from a lady yesterday, Maddie, and you said it was weird. Why? Because you enjoyed it or because it was a bad hug, buddy? Maddie's not afraid to shout out Morning with Maddix. Yeah, Jesus was mobile. Jesus, man, 99% of today's churches would probably not allow Jesus to preach at his church. But I'm going to say this. I got to confess something, okay? It's come to my attention twice in the last week from people that I love and trust that I still sound bitter towards church or towards perhaps specifically even maybe perhaps the UPC because I spent so many years in it, 24 years. And anyways, what are you laughing at, Renee? What's cracking you up over here? But I spent a lot of time in Pentecost. It's going to cost you to be Pentecost. Dance. Who dances? Who had any dancing left? Anybody dance? You know the power of dancing? Do you know the power of dancing? Right? People like King David was a dancer because of the energy of moving your body and the fact that, my friends, God is a spirit. God is not a body. God is a spirit. We are on an earth of supernatural, of elements, of, and we must stay connected to the supernatural. We come from the supernatural. We were born supernaturally. We came here supernaturally. We'll leave here supernaturally. Hey, the problem is a lot of people got stuck in the physical, in the overconsumption of the physical, not enough time in nature, not enough time with the plants, not enough time in the natural. Listen, ready? It's called supernatural. Wow, have you ever thought about the reason why you're not seeing the supernatural is because you're not natural? You know, everybody's like, how come we don't see the supernatural anymore? I said, well, it's because you're not natural. Therefore, you're not seeing the super. You want to see the super, you got to be natural. Meaning, you got to understand the depths of what you actually could be getting from your body. You ready for this? S-O-N of God, or S-U-N of God, right? The Son, the Son, the Son, my friends. Many of you still to this day don't even know the power of your own words, the power of your own thoughts, your body's ability to actually heal itself, the healing power of the plants, the plants, the plants. You ready? Healing power of food, healing power of water, healing power of sleep, healing power of laughing your ass off till you're bent over, crying. Your stomach is hurting because you're laughing so hard. When was the last time you all have had a good old-fashioned, what they call, laugh? Speaking of laughing, hey, we got Carol Hopkins in the house. Now, there's someone that I have laughed until I've cried. And Jennifer says it's a good book title, Jennifer. Well, you know what? Thank you. And we got Charlene the Queen in here. It's good to see everybody out here. We got Max, Michigan Max in the house. We got Saturn here. We got a planet visiting us. Hey, we got Jesus on Instagram. We got Saturn. We got planets. We got all kinds of stuff, my friends. How you doing this morning on a beautiful Wednesday? Who is going to enjoy your wacky Wednesday, or is it a wonderful Wednesday? Or is it a wild Wednesday? Or is it a wealthy Wednesday? It's your decision. It's your choice. And we've got Roxanne from Tennessee. Good old Rock Top, Tennessee. Hey, Saturn is saying hi to you, Carol. She's on Instagram. You remember Saturn, Sunshine's daughter? Well, she's on Instagram, and I love her. Listen, she's a soul. I've known her forever, and let me tell you about one thing about her family is they're all souls. They're real. You hear me? They're real, my friends. They ain't afraid to peel. They're real. Yeah, that, come on, 24 hours, Zach. 24 hours, and you'll know the power. You will not be sour. Hey, we got Carol Hopkins, the raccoon story, if I told that on Facebook. Listen, talk to me this morning, okay, everybody on Instagram? Comment below where you're watching from, Facebook, and good old-fashioned, what you call, who's fired up about 420 coming up here next week or so? 8 more days. Who's fired up about 420? If you don't know what 420 is, I can't help you. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and encourage you to just continue just along with the modernized, Americanized, Babylonian, worship your NFL fantasies, your celebrities, your politicians, keep on those medications, those drugs. You know why all you Christians preach against all the other drugs, but you take drugs. You are a drug. Your phone is a drug. But anyways, here's what I'm saying, my friends, is your food is a drug. Your desserts are drugs. Your sugar's a drug. My God, some of you may not get high, but you get low. All that sugar you do, you know what? You don't get high. You get low. We get high. My friends, we get high. We don't get low. They don't call it getting low. They call it getting high for a reason. Some of you just need to flat out get high. Some of y'all right now need to flat out get high. Okay? If you ain't high, you low. If you ain't high, you can't fly. If you ain't high, you'll die. You got to know the plants. You got to know the power of water. Hey, can you get some vegetables in your body, some fruit? Can you get some laughter? Can you get some love? Anybody heard of love? How about life? How about words, your thoughts? No, what I'm hearing in the spirit is a return to the natural, supernatural. We want to have the supernatural in their churches, but we don't want to be natural. Okay, great. Well, then you're not going to see anything super until you become natural. God doesn't work through false. God doesn't work through fake. God doesn't work through deception. God doesn't work through neediness. God only works through authentic integrity, pure love, pure, just authentic, pure, just this is who I am. God loves that. God loves the rawest, most unedited, unfiltered, honest people. Even if you think they're sinners, hey, they're not sinners. They're winners. Why do you think Jesus took them to dinner? Because he loved this sinner. He took them to dinner. You don't take them to dinner. You send them to hell. Jesus, he had them for dinner. You put them in hell. He says, what the heck? I'm not hanging on a cross for you to put all these people in hell. What the cock-a-do is this? How about flew on that thing? What, Chris? What are you talking about, man? Chris, what are you talking? Hey, what are you talking about? I used to pick this homeless man up when I was in high school. You know, I'd pick him up, me and my buddy Matt Hayfler. And we'd pick him up, and he'd get in the car and he'd say, "Ah la la pica, man." And we'd say, "How you doing? What's going on?" "Ah la la pica, man." And he'd say that about 3 or 4 times. Every time you meet him, it didn't matter where it was. He'd look at you, say, "How you doing?" He'd say, "Ah la la pica, man." You know, and he'd have to say it 2 or 3 times before you could dial into conversation. But when he would fire off a few, "Ah la la pica, man," you know, he would just be like, "So how many times do you think Caleb Maddix would ask me a question?" And I'd go, "Huh? Ah la la pica, man." You know, and anyways, or "Don't mess with me, 6th grade now." You know, Zabdi in the house, she says, "Yes, back to nature, Zabdi. I'd love for you to come live on Morning with Maddix and share your story." Zabdi's got a powerful story. How many Jesus missions has she been to? Love you, TR. Grateful to have you. Oh, we're going scooter riding, Chris. That's what I remember. Oh, Misty. Oh, Misty. You'd have had tears dripping on the floor. You'd have had to been carried off in a stretcher laughing, watching me and Chris Bacon scootering through Old Town. You would have been crying. But we did it, didn't we, Chris? We're scooterers, Bubba. What are we going? We got Zach in the house. You guys, listen, how many missing books of the Bible are there? Who's aware of the missing books of the Bible? Who's read them? Hey, who knows the author of the Bible? Who knows the author of all spiritual writings and teachings and how many spiritual practices are there? Well, let's name all the different spiritual practices you personally know that you learned from your parents, your pastors, and your King James Bible. You ready? Versus all the hidden stuff that they kept from you. Oh, yeah, because they're just going to tell you everything, aren't they? No, because they're not that strong. My friends, they're wrong because they can't even sing a song. And Sherry is here. Sherry shares Morning with Maddix with no shame. Who is going to come live and just chitty-chat it up with me this morning? I'm curious. Who's going to be the one to say, you know what, it's Wednesday. What meal does Americans eat on Wednesday if it's Taco Tuesday and it's okay? I don't understand people that can only eat tacos once a week. So I don't do Taco Tuesday. I do Taco Tuesday, Taco Thursday. That's my culture. You think I'm joking? That's my culture. I get just as fired up about Taco Thursday. Guys, I don't know about you all, but I have decided to not allow them all to tell me what the rules are. Oh, geez, I wonder why this. I wonder why, of all the millions of pieces of advice that Arnold Schwarzenegger could have given the great 15, 16-year-old Caleb Maddix, I think he was 14 at the time. I can't keep up with it all. So much has happened that I need many lifetimes just to process it, much less develop, you got Sherry in the house. Why are people afraid of studying these extra rabbinical texts? You know why, Chris? You said it. Hey, the fear of God has has caused people, it's instead of the healthy, what the fear of God actually is, and people not understanding the revelation of Jesus showing up and talking about the Father. Pops, man. Yo, daddy, yo, daddy, yo, daddy. All right, Maddie, give me a few minutes. Yo, daddy, my friends, Matthias. Hey, we got a real one over here. Lisa's in the house. Angela's over here from Texas. She goes in the mental hospitals and helps those people that, mental people are beautiful. Has anybody thought of that? Has anybody slowed down to think about the fact that there are so many beautiful people on this planet? Has anybody thought of this? Hey, we got Linda here all the way from St. Petersburg, Florida. Hey, Linda, how you doing this morning? TR, did I say hi to my buddy TR Howell? Did I say hi to Zach and Kayla? Did I say hi? I must say hi so you can fly. Hey, friends, listen, the truth is, thank you. That boy TR, TR, he loves this nation. He loves this flag. You hear me? Let me tell you right now, none of you have half a clue, A, what our veterans have been through, B, what this last 4 years of a joke or 3 years of a joke has put them through, and nobody's considered the fact that we in 245 years as a nation has yet to be able to do this one simple thing. You ready? Show extreme honor and respect, love, and appreciation for the people that were willing to die so you could be free. Think about the concept. A stranger dying so you can be free. So you can sit here and live in a nation that has become so spoiled, so evil, so corrupt, that many of you are literally willing to just bow down for and give up on, and just no fight, not willing to shed blood, not willing to shoot, fight, do whatever it takes. This is our land. This is our nation. This is our country. This is us. Everybody protects their land, their nation. You protect the children of your nation. You protect the land. You protect the air. You protect the water. You protect Mother Earth. Hey, that's your mother. The Ten Commandments is also spiritual. There's the physical of the spiritual teachings, but then there's the spiritual revelation of thou shalt not commit adultery could also mean, hey, don't cheat on God either. You know what I mean? Thou shalt not lie is not only thou shalt not lie to each other, but thou shalt not lie to God. Thou shalt not lie to yourself. Huh? But what about honor thy father and thy mother? Yes, we must honor our physical and mothers and fathers. But what about our spiritual father, creator? What about our spiritual mother, earth? What about Mother Earth's animals and trees and air and water and land? How have we treated this sacred land? Hey, I was walking with somebody last night, my boy Patrick, and I said, Patrick, you're walking on the land that's got the blood of 1 million soldiers. There's been over 1 million soldiers shed blood for this land. And I said, one thing blood does is it forever cries out. Blood never dies. You can't get rid of blood, my friends. Blood will forever live. And when you've got the blood of innocent soldiers that went out for causes that you don't understand, when our veterans and our soldiers, they have sparkle in their eye for this flag. They get chills when they hear the national anthem. Many of them weep. Many of them love this nation so much, they'd go back to war tonight if they were called, and they wouldn't even think twice. They'd hug their family goodbye, and they wouldn't even think twice to go back to war. Many of them want to. Many of them have called and asked, what can I do? Many of them are ready. And I just got to give a shout out and appreciation to them, because there's one thing that we will do in the future is in America. I can't speak for Irish or Italians or the Japanese, but in this nation, my friends, we will return to being a nation that instead of our doggone basketball players being treated like gods and celebrities, instead of our doggone football players and our doggone actors and our doggone politicians, you ready for this? How about our soldiers? How about the men and women of the highest level of discipline, the highest level of training and knowledge and commitment and attention to detail and love for nation and love for values and brotherhood and familyhood? You don't think there's things we can learn from them? Geez, you think the Bible's a book of religion or a book about military? I don't know. We could actually go deep about that, my friends. We could go deep. We could take it so deep it would shake you and leave you out in the middle of the ocean. Some of you like the shallow waters. You don't like to go out deep because it takes time to go out deep. It takes time, and guess what? You don't see too many other people when you're out in the deep. Oh, look at Shane West. See, he says he's proud of his son's U.S. Marine Corps. Boy, Shane, God bless you, man. Your sons are, and the other one is in the Air Force. Is that what I'm seeing, buddy? Well, dude, they're protected by the angels, and Jesus said, "He that is greatest is your servant." And the whole Bible story is about a kingdom, y'all. Kingdom. And, you know, our soldiers are servants, and they are blessed, and they have angels, and their families will be blessed. This is what I tell my soldiers, my family and friends that I know that are soldiers. You know what I tell them? I said, young men and ladies, you are God's favorites. You are blessed. You are of the highest level of service. You are the highest level of ladies and gentlemen of society. You cannot get any higher of a lady and a gentleman than one of our soldiers. You can't get any higher outside of Caleb Maddix, but he was trained military style. You know, I had military style parenting, believe it or not, with military style lifestyle, because you can't be around as many soldiers and veterans as I have through the years and not pick up on some secrets. And believe it or not, them teaching those young 18-year-old boys and girls just coming out of a school system and a mom and dad that took them to Disney and gave them popsicles every time they got a little boo-boo. My God, every time a little boy gets a boo-boo, we stick ice cream in their face. No wonder we got weak young men in America. You grew up getting ice cream in your face every time you fell down. No wonder people don't have any discipline or any delayed gratification. All we got was ice cream stuck in our faces. But Pastor Shane West, let me tell you, my friend, out in good old Long Beach, I honor your sons, and they're blessed, and they have angels. And I told my buddy Brad, who's in the Navy, who just went to Japan. Japan gave us an ass beating in good old baseball. But I told him, I said, listen, you are blessed. You have angels surrounding you, and your family will be blessed. God will bless the families of our soldiers, because many of them leave their wives, their mothers, their fathers, their best friends, their husbands, their children, their dogs. You ever think about soldiers that got to say goodbye to their dogs? It's not just their mothers. They say goodbye to girlfriends. They say goodbye to best friends. And they go out there as young warriors. They go out there as basically pure teenagers that have just seen a bunch of BS in the school and a bunch of BS in society, and they want to come serve, and they want to be a part of the future. Come on, we don't need to ever dishonor the sacredness of what our soldiers do. And a lot of you will never get to know they do. You'll never get to really appreciate what they've done, what they do. And then to any soldier in the military that's committing injustice or evil, you need to get on your face and you need to repent, or you need to take off that uniform. Don't you ever dishonor this nation or the people of this nation. Don't you ever allow anybody to convince you to commit an injustice or an evil against any American in this country. You protect the people of this country and the Constitution at all cost. I mean, is there anything wrong with what I just said? Is there anything wrong with what I just said, my friends? Is this okay on YouTube? We got Zabdi over here, but I'm just saying, my friends, we got to return to nature. We got to return to joy. We got to return to love. We got to return to Ruth. Ruth has come to the kingdom for such a time as this. What if her name was Truth? What if her real name wasn't Ruth and her real name was Truth?
David dance. When's the last time you just danced it out? When's the last time you just broke the chains and said, you know what? I don't need someone to pray for me. I'm going to handle this myself, and I'm going to break these chains. You guys have spiritual authority. You guys have authority in the cosmos. You have authority over demons. You have authority over darkness. You have authority over fear. You have authority over every single generational curse that's attached itself to your family, your children. You have authority over depression. You have authority over poverty. You have authority over any disease that comes after you. You have authority over your mind. You have authority over your soul. Hey, we got Andy in the house. Yes, so coming from good old-fashioned, what they call Texas is Texas.
Texas, if you're not careful, you're going to be the X's. Texas, who had a chance to be the greatest of America, has kind of slipped up. How has Texas not even made cannabis legal yet? The basics of the basics. They're still putting people in jails in Texas. They're still arresting fathers for partaking of a God-given natural plant, a healing plant, the healing flower. So how great is Texas and Florida, huh? How great are they really? How great are they actually really? How we doing, Matthias? In other words, Texas is X's. Arizona's the future. Arizona's going to pass them all. And everybody's going to be like, Arizona? Arizona? We thought it was Florida and Texas and California and New York. Yeah, you four had a chance. You four had a chance at greatness. You four in little old quiet Arizona, the desert. Everybody's sleeping on Arizona. Wow. Out here in the desert. Oh, you guys think it's just sand and cactuses and oh, you haven't watched the movie Rango yet, have you? Because you don't know what's really taking place in 2023, do you? No, you're just thinking about your NFL. Some of you are so hooked on sports, you're literally currently talking about the NFL, and you're watching sports podcasts, and the NFL is not starting until the fall, but you're still so engrossed in it. Have you guys ever stopped to just watch humans? Anybody besides me watch humans? Oh. Whoa, who's coming on, Josh? I tried to bring you on live. Matt, where you at? Where are you? We got Laura here. We got who else is here on Instagram and YouTube? Guys, they say I'm controversial. I say to myself, really? I didn't know. It don't feel controversial to me. The stuff I say where I come from doesn't feel controversial. Stuff I say feels normal as heck. Heck, the stuff I say feels normal. Ain't that the truth, huh? We got Lizzie in the house. We got Josh Cohn. Josh, I tried to let you come on and it didn't accept it. What happened? Are you guys grateful I go live in the mornings? I really almost am seriously considering about eliminating Morning with Maddix and going back to Ask Matt Maddix because I don't like the word morning anymore. I don't like to even say it. So welcome to Morning with Maddix. How you doing? I don't want you to mourn. I want you to be born. You hear me? Alcohol is legal. Alcohol. I'll kill all. I'll kill all. Alcohol. You hear me? Stay away from alcohol, even though I've drank it. And I'm sure I would probably have a glass of wine again. I hope not to, but I probably would. But anyways, I'm all about the plants. I'm all about the nature. I'm all about the source. But I'll have a cheeseburger and a steak. I'll have a J. I'll probably have a cigar this summer sitting around the fire at my brother's farm. Don't say that my brother at his farm in Michigan and my family and my cousins are sitting around and they crack open a Heineken. Everybody's all got, here's the problem with Americans. You guys even still, the fact that Americans even still drink Bud Light. Here's what cracked me up about Christians and Republicans. You guys are comical. You're actually comical to watch. I mean, you're comical. You are dishing us so much comedy. It's literally at a place where it's starting to actually go from crazy to loony to what the heck. Yeah, it's the drunkenness, Matthias. There it is. I do not like to be drunk, because when you're drunk, you're sunk. When you're drunk, you dunk. But I've had some good times. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I'm not going to sit here and just treat things like everybody's flipped out about someone having a beer when you guys are 6-8 hours on an iPhone. You're 6-8 hours on, so let's check your screen time. You're 6-8 hours. And I mean, now I'm not talking about Morning with Maddix. You need to be here. So minus that off your screen time, because you can watch this without technically watching. You can listen to it too, because this will be transcribed into podcasts. All Morning with Maddix past episodes will be on an Apple podcast. They'll be able to, where you'll be able to listen to them as well. They'll be all over Spotify. You can't name a media outlet that we won't be showing up on in the future in the most passionate, loving, radical, fanatical, extreme, bold, courageous, honest, humble, fun, exciting, enthusiastic ways. That's us. That's who we are. Hey, if you cut us in a million pieces, we would bleed love. We would bleed fire. We would bleed truth. We would bleed excitement. We would bleed happiness. You would be like, oh, wow, he actually really was happy. He really, truly was positive. Matthias, same, buddy. If I go back in history, if I could have been discovered cannabis at a younger age, anyways. Boy, you can't even talk to Republicans and Christians about cannabis. Here's what, they will rip you to hell and back. They have their things that they will consider you an absolute anti-American and anti-God, when they do absolute same things that are literally anti-American and anti-God. But because it doesn't affect image, or nor does it affect whatever. It's crazy, because it's crazy. You sound blurred up, says Zabdi on YouTube. Well, because YouTube doesn't always give the technology. It takes time for it to catch up. Am I right, Tanner Osborne in the house? But here's my point, right? It's like the amount of absolute hypocrisy that comes out of the Republicans and Christians, as if, let's turn the whole world over to Republicans and Christians. Let's do it. Let's give it to them for 4 years. I'd love to say, okay, we'll give literally every single school teacher, every single police officer, every single judge, every single governor, every single mayor, every single anybody with any type of influence, firefighter, I don't know, doctors, let's make every single doctor, let's make every single nurse, let's make every single teenager or college professor, and let's make every single do you guys even want this? Would you want this kind of future? Do you really believe that us just turning the entire future over to Republicans and Christians, that this is the end all be all, this is the answer, this is the solution? Well, you, my friends, drink Kool-Aid. You may not drink wine, but you drink Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? And that's just crazy and shocking to me. You drink the Kool-Aid. Why are you boxing me in like that, Bacon? Why are you talking? Talk to me, buddy. Get me on the straight and narrow. Look, we got Carolina in the house. Boy, we got kings and queens in here. Maddie, I got Elon Musk that just jumped out on Instagram. Elon Musk, hey, you don't think he reads all my tweets? I guarantee you they know who we are. Hey, talk to me, Maddie.
How you doing this morning?
Bro, as you can tell, fired up. Some would say I'm controversial. I'm more controversial before 7 a.m. than most people are before Christmas. But hey, you know what? They say I would tell them, hey, I'll say less if you'll say more. You know what I'm saying? I just don't appreciate everybody just masking up and assuming that Christians and Republicans are going to save Earth. My friend, we've had hundreds of years of Christians and Republicans leading us, and sometimes they've led us away from laws of nature. They've led us away from our families and friends. They've turned us into hypocrites and judgmental haters. And a lot of times they, in the name of trying to be righteous and in the name of trying to be American, they end up completely becoming arrogant, hateful, rude, disrespectful. And quite frankly, it's not even the look of a real Republican or a real Christian. So there's two, it's almost like we have two parallel universe happening at the same time. And we really do have there's real Republicans and there really are real Christians, but they're the old American ones. See, we have a generation of mixed breeds among us because we have old Americans who know real America, and then we have all these people who have been submitted to China and all the China ways and all the doggone system and celebrity culture, who they're not only blind, but they're also deaf. They're not only blind and deaf, they're dumb. It's bad to be dumb, blind, and deaf, Manny. How do you survive in 2023 when you're blind, dumb, and deaf? How you doing?
And at the same time, you think you're going to heaven.
Think you're going to heaven to meet a God who's going to look at you and say, what the heck? He ain't letting you mess this place up. You're going to have to go relive this. You're going to have to go do this again. How you doing, bud? Talk to me. What's your takeaway? Bacon, you're coming on next. With me and Maddie, we'll go 10 minutes, and I'll bring Bacon. I'm going to bring a rotation of people in. Talk to me, Maddie.
Man, can we talk about two things real quick? And I'll just give you my opinion on the cussing. We'll start with cussing.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. If people aren't cussing because they think it's a sin, it's a personal thing that if you do it, God, so it's between you and God's going to mark it as sin. God does not pay attention to your, I call it face noises, your mouth noises. These noises you make with your mouth, God doesn't pay attention to that no more than he pays attention to the noise that you make out of your ass. Okay? He's not paying attention to your farts, and he's not paying, and they say, I can prove it.
Okay.
Can you lie to God? Can you lie to him? And people will say, no, you can't lie to God. So if I say, if I hated you, Maddix, which I don't, but if I hated you, or if I go to anybody and I hate them, and I say, I love you, that's a sin, because you're lying.
Wow, you guys hearing this? This is wisdom. Keep going.
Now, if I actually love you, and I come up to you, and I have all this love, and I say, I effing love you, God's not marking this down as a sin. He's like, man, this guy really loves him. So he's not paying attention to your mouth noise. So when does cussing actually become a sin? The Bible says, if it offends your brother, pluck it out or cut it off. I guarantee you there are probably people that Maddix have never and will never cuss around. Usually parents are on that list. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like I would never cuss. You're right. I would never cuss around some people that I know, or like, you know, I don't cuss around my Travis and Amber's kids, or even knowing Kayla's kids. I mean, I'm a little more free because they are too as well. But you know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. Keep going. This is good stuff.
It's a sin when it offends. Mathematics covers that
I'm saying, turn off the podcast.
That's simple, isn't it?
It's simple. Turn it off because he doesn't want to offend you. So there's people that think cussing is a sin, and they think wrong, even though they're thinking it's a sin. It's wrong because we've discussed it. It's a mouth noise, and the only time it's really a sin is if it's offending somebody. Now, if you're cussing out of anger, that's probably a sin already without the cuss. You can be mad and punch somebody or attack somebody without even cussing. It's a sin. You do it and you're cussing. That's a sin. It's, But if I look at Maddix, or if I look at my friends and say, I effing love you, and I want to say it. I want to say it, but I say, I effing love you. God's not up there writing this down as a sin. If it doesn't offend you, you can cuss. You can't lie to God. And that's because God's paying attention to what's in your heart, not what's coming out of your mouth. And they say, well, is he listening to my prayers when I pray? Of course he's listening to your prayers because it's coming from you and it's coming from your heart.
If people could get a glimpse of how big the cosmos is, the stars, the galaxies, the moon, the sun, and the other planets, and they're over here flipping out over someone saying a universal word like fuck, dude, they got serious, deep, small-minded, deep, weak thinking because, first of all, they watch it in their movies, they listen to it in their songs, and they go to Disney World and they go to Starbucks, dude, because Starbucks, you know what's funny? Everybody's boycotting Bud Light.
Yeah.
Well, they need to literally throw away everything, dude. Because this is what we do. We react like this, and, it's just, but keep going.
If you're going to boycott things, for one, people don't do things they don't even know they should be boycotting. You should probably boycott Amazon. You should probably be boycotting
our own government. We should literally all stop paying taxes. Every breathing human being should refuse to pay taxes. They should literally, it should be a rebellion. It should be a literal refuse. Lock us up. Go ahead. We'll all go. You're going to lock up 3 million people? Go ahead. How you going to lock up 3 million people? Great luck with that. That's why they tried to vax everybody.
Well, that's funny because I commented earlier today. I'm at the office and I'm getting my quarterly taxes in for my business. And then you preach, like, don't pay them. I was like, I think I have to pay these. However, there's ways you can work your taxes where I can make $30,000 a month for 3 quarters and pay $400 in taxes. I don't mind, give it, anyway.
Well, why would you pay? Listen, they're criminals. You're on a floating rock in space and you're giving 40% of your income to criminals and pedophiles who take it and they do criminal things with our money. And they don't even serve the people with our money. And so if we keep doing this, you know what they're going to keep doing? The animals in the zoo, humans in the zoo are next.
Humans in the what?
Humans in the zoo are next. They will come visit us in zoos like we visit the lions, tigers, and bears in the zoo. Hey, who would have ever thought you could overtake a lion in the wild and put him in a zoo?
In America than anywhere in the world.
Wow. Talk about that. Why?
And most of it comes down to money. They get money for putting people in prison. They're incentivized to lock people up. Man, have you ever sat in jail? It's an eye-opening experience. You're like, who's in charge here? I'm like living my life, and when I was a kid, I got pulled over driving while my license was suspended, and the cop decided to take me to jail. And I'm like, man, I'm in a box. All these people are in charge. I thought I was a free person, but no.
Dude, when I was Jeff Arnold's youth pastor, I got arrested on a Saturday night after a harvest party. I had to preach Sunday morning for Jeff Arnold, and I got arrested with Caleb Maddix and his mother in the car because I got 3 tickets in 1 year, 12 points in 12 months. I wasn't aware of it because I just got done evangelizing and my mail hadn't showed up to Gainesville, that they gave me a 30-day suspension. This, you know what, Matt, they have 7,000 laws in America because they're stupid. First of all, anybody that needs 7,000 laws sucks at leadership, sucks at governing, sucks at serving people, sucks at integrity, sucks at everything. Actually, they have torn legacies. These last generation of what they call leaders or whatever they are, dude, they suck their legacy so bad, Maddie. But my question is, dude, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways, man?
On what?
All of this.
It's a big program. Every country runs their program. And that's why people in America are Christian. That's why people in Pakistan are Muslim. That's why people in Israel are Jewish or Muslim. You go to their culture and you can tell what religion they're going to be. It's like when you're Ohio fan. Lives in Ohio. No wonder he's an Ohio fan. Guess what happens when you go to Texas and you say, hey, who's the best football team? They're going to say their team, not everybody. Not the people who moved to Texas from Michigan. They're going to stick with their Michigan people. And so you go around Tampa, who's the best football team? Oh, we have Tom Brady. That's the same thing with religion and different cultures.
And they don't call that worship. Dude, that is literal worship. And these people, and I've been in it before, man, the sports world reveals mental illness among Americans. Hey, no wonder they say 40 million have mental illness and they think it's the homeless and all the what they say are drug addicts. And you know what the truth is? Some of the most mentally ill people are your CEOs, your pastors, your governors, your movie stars, your football coaches, your quarterbacks, look at their lives and pull away from being so mesmerized by the fact that they're a quarterback for a doggone NFL. Dude, when people wake up to just the small shit that they worship, that they submitted to, they're going to throw up. They're going to literally vomit, Maddie.
The two biggest industries that do not pay taxes in the United States of America are churches and the NFL.
Wow. Break it down. Tell us why.
Well, because it's worship. They need to keep you busy. That's why it's Sunday NFL, Sunday night football. They know how much content they need to put on their screen to keep you busy. And they don't need you to watch all of it, but they need you to watch a bunch of it just to keep you busy and spending your money and it diverts you from things that are important. And
you know, the longer I live, the more I understand why Jeff Arnold preached against sports. He was strict, dude. My man was strict against sports. Huh?
It's like drinking. It's like drinking. You're going to have a drink every once in a while. Cool. But don't be an alcoholic. That's where it goes bad. I mean, you could actually probably, it's like people be spiritual, good. But don't be too spiritual. Learn, but don't be too convinced that you know everything. And, you can take anything to an extreme. So watch your sports. But don't make sacrifices and things that would better your life so you can watch a couple of people throw balls around. The whole thing's a game. That's why with the justice system, that's why when you go to court, it's in a court. Just like on tennis, just like on baseball, the whole thing's a game. And the object is to put the ball in the other guy's court. The whole thing.
It is. And you know what? It's so obvious and people miss what's right in front of their faces. For example, supernatural. You ready? Artificial intelligence. Hey, you ready? Let me say artificial intelligence in a new way. You ready? It's just artificial intelligence. It's just something the humans created. Meaning you can't even have artificial intelligence without a human. It wouldn't exist. This is how stupid people are. That people literally are so mesmerized by something that people created, we created. And I'm not saying we didn't get help from ETs, and because I really do. Matt, what are your thoughts on what aliens? First of all, the word aliens is a lie. Alien, a lie in. a lie in you. Hey, they're trying to put a lie in you. Duh, alien. Hey, it's a label, Maddie. You could call an alien a spider. You could call a spider a dolphin. These are just created labels by man that put definitions to these things.
Well, technically, an alien is something that's alien. Whenever in this context, it's alien to this earth. It wasn't created here on earth. So by that definition, God and all the angels are aliens.
I believe this. Okay, break that down. So what are your thoughts on that? What is your craziest thought about God and or life that would be unconventional, say, to Christian and Republican?
Well, good news for the Christians, there is a God.
Hey, can I get a witness?
There's a supreme being, there is a creator, and you get to be connected to this through your inner force, through your spirit, through your soul.
I like my boy Tanner on Instagram Live. Got a lot of people over here on Instagram. Also too, and he said aliens are demons. I just want to throw that out there for you to touch on here in a bit. But keep going.
Aliens, they're not. I mean, that's dumb. That's just stupid to say. Aliens are demons. Oh yeah, how many have you met? I've never met any. But you know they're all demons. Okay, sounds like a mother-in-law complex.
Yeah, but the guy that said that is actually a really good guy. He's super smart.
You can't blanket and just say all aliens are demons. Because okay, how about this? Say all aliens are demons, right?
Yeah.
There is a planet somewhere with a whole culture on there, and they don't even know we exist, and they say all aliens are demons, and to them we're the alien. So are all aliens demons? Because there's worlds that we don't come from, and to that world we're an alien. If he says all aliens are demons, he's talking about us too, and we're not all demons. So that's
right. We're probably aliens.
We're aliens to something. And I'm not saying that I think there is or think there isn't. I have no opinion. If there is another world with
yeah, but alien again, like I said, it's a lie. You got to look at words and break them apart slowly, because there's not a word they use that doesn't have a manipulative meaning to it or a revelation. It's either got a manipulation or a revelation. So some of the words.
And if y'all think Matt's going off the deep end when he says that, he is not. He can never be closer to the bullseye. And so I like it said this way. When you go to a funeral, have you ever been to a wake? They used to call it a wake. They would go when the person's dead. They call it a wake to see if you would wake up. And you would mourn. All right? So every morning, you're mourning, you wake. And you're experiencing a week day. And then you experience 5 weekdays, wake up in morning, 5 weekdays, and by the end of the 5 weekdays, what are you? Weekend.
You're right. And people use these words and don't think twice about it. But yet if we use a cuss word, they're flipping out. But yet, look it. Jesus said cursing, not cussing. Cussing was never mentioned in the Bible, but blessing and cursing, hey, what are we cursing? Sometimes we're cursing our marriages, we're cursing our children, we're cursing our bodies, we're cursing our vision, we're cursing our dreams, we're cursing our money, we're cursing our health, we're cursing other people, we're cursing God's creation, all the while thinking, well, I don't say F or shit or I don't know Maddie, I'm laughing I don't even know what is cussing. I'm laughing because I'm like, dude, I live with Jeff Arnold, the godliest one of them all. And outside of F-U-C-K, he used just about every one of them in everyday normal language. And the man prayed and read the Bible more than any human I've ever met. And he's got the purest heart of anybody I've ever seen. It's just culture. It's you know what I keep saying? It's sound, not language. It's sound. God hears sound.
It's a sound. That's all it is. It's a sound that you make.
Let me ask you, Maddie, how do you think we need to stop using these words such as weekday, weekend? Do you think we need to literally, or is it not a big deal?
Well, it's only a big deal if you realize, if it gives you the thought that it's not a good thing, that thought alone is worse and really makes it not a good thing than not knowing that it's not a good thing. See, we don't mind cussing because we know it's not that bad. People don't like cussing because they know, because they think it is bad. So if you say, I shouldn't be mourning, and this podcast shouldn't be called Mourning with Maddix, if you think that in your heart, then I think you should change it. But if you don't know any better, the Bible says you're going to be judged according unto what you know.
That's why I don't want to know anymore.
That's right. That's why you say, I don't want to know anymore. And educators, Maddix, you're an educator. Your brother Travis on Instagram, or Trevor on Instagram, myself, we have to be careful not to judge people because there's things that they don't know and there's things that I don't know. And there's things we have to learn. But just because I get a revelation or...
Yes, Chris, jump on with us. Keep going, Maddie.
Read a book. Yeah, bring him in.
Keep going. Yeah, Maddie, this is so good. And everybody's on Instagram loving it. Tanner clarified. He said, we are all aliens. Not all of them are bad. Yeah, we're not from here. And listen, we're chosen, not frozen. And dude, we are here on the most extreme missions we have. We are bigger and better and more powerful than all of the artificial intelligence combined. And the artificial intelligence is here to serve us. It's probably created because we're not going to need that many jobs, because the truth is, when everybody's wealthy and free, you're not going to need slaves anymore. And so the AI, everybody looks at it like, oh, evil, evil, evil. Dude, a lot of stuff that we call evil is good, and a lot of stuff that we call good is evil. Get in here, Chris Bacon. Get on in here, Bubba. Break down what I just said, Maddie.
If my TV screen's throwing you off, let me know and I'll turn it.
No, I like it, dude, actually. It's representing, man.
Represent.
Break down what I just said. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's things that aren't evil, there's things that are, and I think it goes back into how you're feeling about it in your heart. Just because you think it's evil doesn't mean it is. But if you're thinking it, you're going to inject a negative input on your life by just thinking something's bad. You know, the Bible says, whatever a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So people who think negative towards all kinds of things, it is negative because they're thinking it's negative, and God's going to respond to that. We're making a Chris sandwich. I'm in my office.
We got Chris and Maddie. We got Chris and Matthew. This is good stuff. Go ahead. This is good, Chris. Chime in. We've been hearing and thinking what we're sharing, buddy.
You know, I like what you guys are saying. And, you know, cussing, I made a choice some years back just to take it out of my vocabulary. But it's my choice. Matt knows my, I was in the construction industry, and if you've ever been on the construction side, it's every other word. But I dealt with a lot of high-level people, and it was, not just, it just wasn't acceptable in a lot of those environments. So I just made a conscious decision to take that out of my vocabulary, and it's just a personal choice.
I think that's a smart decision. There's places that don't belong.
Yeah, and for me,
I think our kids should be set free to cuss. I think our children should be cussing. I think we would have more powerful adults if we raised more powerful, expressive children and stop saying words like, don't say that, be careful what you say. And it's like, we've been careful what we've said too much. And, it's like the amount of people with suits on with millions or righteous that won't say it in rooms, but will go behind closed doors and say it like a sailor?
I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I said, I don't walk around with the book of life. It's not mine. I don't own it. He does. And I tell young preachers this. When you're coming up in ministry, you don't walk around with that. You don't own it. He does. What he does with that book of life, when he opens it and starts flipping those pages, is his business.
Scares me.
When he starts to read those pages to somebody at that great white throne, is his business and not yours. So you leave people's personal business alone.
Break that down, Chris. Tell why.
Because it's not your business. You are an example. If you want to be a witness of Christ, you let people see him in you and through you. That's all you ever are on this planet. That's all you'll ever be on this planet. You are not him. You have to let people see him in you. You do not own the book of life. He does. Right. He's the only one that can turn those pages. You cannot. You never will.
I like what you said. I don't cuss in business, just like I don't wear my pajamas to church. I don't wear my pajamas to Sunday school, but I wear them. But it's not appropriate at the church. And I also make sure I never cuss out of hate. But not only cuss out of hate, I don't want to say hateful things.
No.
You know, yeah, but we're still saying words like cuss. What the you know what is cuss?
Well, there's a difference in cussing and cursing.
And that's right. It's an idea. Cussing's an idea.
You know, the Bible talks about out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. You know, it's out of the heart, but you've got the key word in that is the abundance.
Because I'll be honest, in some cultures, when they're dropping F-bombs, it raises the frequency and it's part of culture, and it's as normal as us saying, you guys, most Americans with extreme Republican or Christian backgrounds, it doesn't matter. If we've been wired, we all three have UPC, hardcore wiring of Christianity, strong Republican. You guys, that I don't care how you slice it and dice it, we're still saying things in our verbiage that is not supposed to be on New Earth and is not supposed to be. Now, I'm not talking about you two. I'm talking about collectively. You know, we're still assuming that because someone says F-U-C-K that they've just cussed. And you guys talk about no cussing in business. Well, I can give you the flip side of I've watched many $1 million deals go down with about 700 cuss F words going on and walk out of there and have the time of their life and be friends and family and high integrity people and don't cheat on their wives and they're moral and they go to church. And I can also tell you how many preachers I've heard drop some F-bombs on them golf courses and they didn't lose their churches. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, your thoughts, because it's like, you're right. I've heard the cleanest business people not cuss, but I've also seen some amazing business happening with cussing, and it doesn't mean you're bad in business or you're not professional, because I've seen some very powerful businessmen that are very high integrity that cuss, quote unquote.
Gary V, John, you'll get to know me as we move forward, because I really like this. I think we'll get, we'll develop a relationship going forward. Matt knows my heart. Coming out, we deal with a lot of people that have come out through this movement, and they've got a lot of damage in their lives. A lot of that lingering. And I just was dealing with some folks this past couple of weeks that got a lot of that lingering, just bondage on their lives. With all of that, that stuff. And they trying to find freedom from a lot of that old stuff, and I tell them, you go back to that scripture, working out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and I tell them, I said, here's the thing. I said, personal conviction is That's one. But don't you dare try to put somebody else.
Wow.
That's good.
That can be just as bad of a sin as sin itself, Chris, what you're saying.
I don't know who Chris is, but I like him. I like him already.
Well, hey, you haven't heard Chris's story. You got to go back to some former Morning with Maddix's. He's been on 2 or 3 times, and he went to Bible college with me, but keep going.
If God tells you, don't cut your hair, don't you ever cut your skin. If God tells you to do something in your life, you be the best one at it because that's something that God is working on you personally with. But don't ever try to test somebody else because they're not you. They'll never be you. They'll never live the same situation with you. They'll never same battles as you. They'll never have the same situations as you. They'll never go through the same trials as you. They'll never face the same demons as you.
That's so good.
In your life. And God is doing those things in your life for a purpose. The moment you try to force your stuff on somebody else who's messed up, that's what holiness movements have tried to do. Force their stuff on other people for no reason.
Wow.
For no reason whatsoever. Allow God to work on them individually. God will sort out mess. All you've got to do is get them to Him. He'll sort out their mess.
And you have to see that if a generation does that and they're enforcing things to try to convict people about something certain, and the church follows, and then that generation dies, the next generation doesn't know where it came from, and they're just enforcing it.
When you look at some of these patriarchs in the Bible, they've got sometimes 40 years to sort out their mess, and they're patriarchs, fathers of the faith, you know?
Right.
That's powerful what you just said, Chris.
That's good. I mean, hold on, I can still hear you.
Chris, that's powerful. Say that again.
You know, it took about years to sort out their mess. You're not going to do it. Leave them alone. Let God do it. But these preachers out there with this self-righteous attitude think they can do it in a week by changing their clothes, tell them how to wear their hair, tell them to strip off makeup, tell them to quit smoking, tell them to quit cussing, tell them what food to eat, tell them all this stuff. Leave them alone. Let God handle His business. All you need to do is get them to a place of repentance and get them to a place where they can get the remission of their sins and allow God to start dealing with their heart issues. He'll sort out the rest of their mess.
Amen.
Come on, guys. You know what? If we could live this way, our churches would be packed.
They'd be packed. You couldn't fit them in.
Couldn't fit them.
You think Peter got up there after the day of Pentecost and those 3,000 people tried to sort out their mess in their homes? He didn't care. He just wanted them to accept Jesus. That's all he wanted. He didn't care what they wore, what they looked like, what they had. He didn't care.
Amen. That's good. Do you still preach?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Hey, Chris is coming down to Phoenix, Maddie. He's flying down here the first weekend of May. If any of you guys want to come down that weekend, what's the exact dates? It's May
3rd through the 9th.
Hey, Cinco de Mayo! Chris, you're gonna be Cinco de Mayo. Are you kidding? We are gonna Cinco de Mayo like nobody's Cinco de Mayo. You hear me? I Cinco de Mayo more than the Spanish Cinco de Mayo.
I have a competition on Cinco de Mayo. Every year, I've been running a competition years now, and I won last year. And you got a jacket, and all the names of the winners are in the jacket. And every Cinco de Mayo, we run. We go for a run.
Matt and I are flying to be here in the not too distant future.
Hey, y'all tell
Chris.
me y'all land at St. Pete.
Hey, we got a lot of people interacting here. We got Zach, we got Sherry. Let me get a few of the comments and get your guys' takeaways on them while you guys talk, because we got a lot of interaction on what you guys are saying.
I fell out of place without my hat on.
Hey, a hat, the Bible said put on the helmet of salvation. It's a spiritual. When I put on my hat, that's like, hey, I tip my hat to say, let's go. It's time to go to work. You know.
She got a new job in a bank. She's like, I just come open an account. So I did. I went to put 10 grand in there so I could have some play money.
That's funny.
Bacon, that cracks me up, dude. Mark is going to be here. You won't be there? Oh, it's Travis's birthday. Okay. I see that, Tanya. How you doing? Well, Mark will be there when you're here. Well, he'll be at least a few days. He's coming, and I think towards the weekend, but he'll be there. Hey, talk to us, guys. I mean, what needs to happen? How do we fix this? Because it's got to be fixed.
We live it, we preach it, and they have to see it. When they start seeing it, and they start seeing the fruit, I'm telling you what, and I live this every day. I don't need your titles. I don't need your labels. I don't need any of that stuff. All I need you to do is see the fruit hanging off my branches. When you start wanting the fruit, my fruit, you'll start living like I live. When you want my fruit, you'll live like I live.
Yeah. People need to be more educated than motivated, but they have to be receptive to listen. People don't want to be educated.
It may take the wilderness like Israel had to do 40 years. It may take the wilderness to kill off all the religious relics. It may take a wilderness.
Well, I tweeted a while back, and I was teasing, right? But I said, look, I spent 16 years raised Catholic, 24 years in the United Pentecostal Church. I said, that's like Moses wandering in the wilderness 40 years. I said, don't tell me about the wilderness. I was 40 years in it. I teased my son and his friends, you know. I said, you guys left Pentecost. I said, I was in it 24 years. I said, 2
people out of 3 million crossed the Jordan.
Oh, why?
Because they disobeyed. They're disobedient.
Well, interesting. We got a Maddix at 25 years old, and we have a Maddix today, maybe around, what are you about?
47.
47. So, could you, you're doing good. Could you imagine the Maddix of 47? If he was able to go to the Maddix that was 25 and in a single conversation try to convince them of something else, I don't know if it would have happened, but it took the journey. It took being in the wilderness to get this Maddix.
You know, he still, all the fire that he had when we were kids, he still got all that fire. He just got, and I've known him all these years, and my biggest fear was that fire would die, but it didn't.
Thank God. Praise the Lord.
You were, hey.
It got a little wet for a while, but the fire never went away.
Wet wood. I wish I had a harmonica.
Wood got a little wet.
Hey, that's what I say. They say, hey, what caused you to backslide? I said, well, first of all, I didn't backslide. God saved me and protected me and preserved me for the end because y'all didn't deserve any more of my time and energy. You see what I'm saying? I was like, I wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be a human. I wanted to be an American. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to find my faith. Wow, is there anything wrong with that? Even the Bible gives us freedom of choice, freedom to work out our own salvation. And once I woke up to who I was and our future, and I saw the greatness in my son, I didn't want my son's amazing brain to be twisted with all that and that be his attachment to God.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? Thank you, Kayla.
Hey, how y'all like the backside of my farm, man?
Boy, it looks peaceful. I need to come out there a week or two and just disappear.
Northeast Oklahoma.
Is it? Where are you sitting in right now? Guys, what do we got to do to save America? What do we need to do to get America fired up? Because here's the truth, guys. Let me be honest. We're in 2023. I thought 2020, I thought maybe a month or two into this, we would have ended it. We would have shaken it. We would have, what? I don't know what people, where are we as a nation? Like, you guys are Americans. You guys are radicals. You guys are warriors. You guys are soul winners. You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys are creators. Where are we?
We got to do it. If I can answer, we got to do it on an individual level. And there's going to be a majority, 51+% will never get on board. Most likely, they'll continue with the ball games and the programming and the TV shows and the music. And it might get way, way worse before it gets better. But this whole time, like the economy for 3 years, my income has quadrupled in the last 3 years. And people are going, what's the matter? Everything's falling apart. I'm like, hey, everything's going fine for me.
Everything's good.
Everything's going to be on an individual level. And then we got to team up just like we're doing right here on Morning with Maddix.
I don't have a problem making money.
Hey, let me ask you guys this. You're saying it's on an individual level? Well, you're sipping on bacon?
All right.
Coke Zero.
I got my Graceway water. I drink 4 of these a day.
Just I have 1 of these a day. I know I need to quit.
No, you don't. No, you don't need to quit. You need to enjoy 1 a day until you, like my Grandpa Davis enjoyed a Pepsi a day until he died. Listen, he was 97. Bacon. I hardly drink. I like my Dr. Pepper out of a can, but I bought my homeless angel Sarah these DPs, and she didn't want any DPs because she's been taking a little break, so she sent them back home with me, and I thought, wow, blessing of the Lord. I got Show us, man. I'll come fish. Hey, John Farmer's live. He said he lives in Oklahoma. You guys need to connect.
I love being outside.
Hey, how can we get the supernatural going again, guys?
The supernatural's already here, man.
It's a movement.
It's here. I mean, it's not us. It might not matter. Get it going. You just got to live it.
Yeah.
Well,
people just don't believe anymore. They just don't believe.
do you guys personally think it's wrong for churches not to invite me to come preach because I cuss and I do cannabis?
Do I think it's wrong?
Yes. I will make that statement publicly before the world. Right now, everybody knows it on all these social media. Yes, you guys are wrong for being so judgmental of people's lives like that. Because I want you to understand, it's in the book. The gifts and callings of God are without repentance. Who are you to judge the gifts and callings of God? You didn't give them. You didn't appoint them. You didn't position them. You didn't do anything as far as those gifts and callings. God gave them. Who are you to say how they're to be used and how are they and when they're to be used?
No doubt, dude. That's powerful, Chris. I appreciate that.
I'm telling you right now, these preachers, these pastors, sit up there and they say, well, bless God, because this guy did this guy. I have 2 living ex-wives. Who? There are preachers out there that say, well, you can't get behind my pulpit. I don't want your pulpit. I don't need your pulpit. I don't need your money. I don't need anything you have.
I don't need a preaching opportunity.
I don't need your open door. You can sit there with your 25 people and preach to them same faces for the next 50 years. I don't care.
And you know, it's funny. Today you're on Morning with Maddix, and there'll be 400 people that watch this by the end of the day. And this guy don't want to give you his 25. You're like, I don't need your 25.
I'm like, I preach to the world every day. Listen, it's 400, but it's really probably 4 million because these are shown in some large rooms. And plus, hey, sometimes my son and I would do live. I can't even tell you some of the rooms that these would be aired in at night. And you guys talk to the world, man. Listen, this is no joke. They know us. They've known us a long time. We are not new to the show, if you would. When I say we, I'm talking myself, Caleb Maddix, because there were two shots out here. You know, there were two forces that flew through this planet that God was using, and they know who we are, and they study us. They study every tweet, every Instagram post, every Facebook post, every live. There's people that literally are required to watch the lives. And the people that watch replay, you don't even know, guys, who's literally sitting here right now listening on Instagram. My Instagram follow. That's why I tease people. I'm like, I say, who has the most powerful following in the world? And obviously we're going to say Jesus. There's that goes without question. But we're talking about just basic either social media influencers or whatever. And I say, no. I'd say I have the most powerful following in the entire planet. And I said, people don't understand. Look at Chris Bacon. What's that? What's it?
Upload the video. I've got it. I'll show it to Matt when I'm out there. 3 weeks ago at our church, had a guy show up. He had been at that church like 4 years ago. The guy was demon possessed. I walked up to him. The guy looked me in the eye, and that demon spoke, said, I was in the hospital room with you, and I was going to kill you then. My COVID story. I died 4 times. I looked at that demon. I said, you wouldn't kill me then. You're not going to kill me now. You're coming out of this man. That demon came out of that man. The man that was right-minded. His marriage was healed. He's in his right mind today. He was a former preacher. He's in his right mind. He lived 4 hours away. Said the demon made him come to that church. Wow. How many of these dead preachers that won't have people that are divorced twice or might say a cuss word,
but don't know how to cast out a demon or don't know how to baptize somebody?
They can't cast out a paper bag.
But they're just convinced, and you can't argue with them. They're convinced.
I put my hands on a guy the other day. He hadn't had function in his kidneys for 25 years. He didn't like you and me now.
And the key is faith and authority, isn't it, Bacon?
It's faith and authority. It's authority belief. Yeah, I've got 2 living ex-wives, but you don't tell me that God can't use me. You don't get to tell me that. Just because you've got your pastor of 25 people in some broke-down church somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, they ain't even pastoring 25.
I mean, really, man?
That's not easy.
I'm so sick of religion. I'm done.
Yeah, and so is God, because we're in an awakening, guys. And imagine, hey, we're so awake, and so are so many others watching. This is, people on Morning with Lisa's asking. We got 2 questions. Someone asked your guys' thoughts on shrooms, and someone wants to know, why do we like cussing? Tanya says this is powerful. And by the way, Chris, that was powerful what you just shared. And I believe that head to toe, my friend. And here's the thing. Dude, God, if you studied the 3,000 plus Bible characters, they were wild, they were controversial, they were extreme failures, had extreme flaws, had extreme highs and lows. And most of them ran from the mission, didn't want to do the mission. And even Peter, hey, imagine inviting an evangelist that denied Jesus 3 times last year publicly. Imagine me being on a podcast saying, no, I don't even believe in Jesus. I've never experienced the Holy God. I've never, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that. And yeah, he still preached on the day of Pentecost.
So who wants to address shrooms first?
Shrooms? I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't do cannabis. I don't do shrooms. Personal choice. I'll have a glass of wine if I want a glass of wine. It's my life. It's things that I choose to do. You do you. The Bible says, be not drunk as drunkards are. Don't be an addict. Don't be out there drunk, falling around all the time, acting like a fool. You know, don't use, if it becomes a God to you, if it becomes something that you feel like you have to have all the time to function, if you feel like it's something that gets a hold of you, that you feel like you have to have this every day of your life to survive.
Yeah. And that's how I felt.
You need to find God, because God needs to be that in your life. You have to have Him every day in your life to survive.
Hey, my buddy Dale Lenz, who you would love, he says he wants to come to Oklahoma and hang out at your property. We need to do that. We need to, hey, why don't we do a meetup there?
We can have a big camp out down in the field, have bonfires. We can do all kinds of
We're going to arrange that. We're going to arrange that.
I smoked marijuana every day for 8 years, and I quit during the lockdown because at the time I had a business that completely shut down through the lockdowns, and probably another 6 months after that, it was clear that the business was my efforts were going to be somewhere else, so that business closed down. Anyway, and I kept smoking weed, and it added to a detriment to myself. And I was the type of guy, I could give you 5 real good reasons why weed was invented for people like me, and I was the candidate to smoke weed, but I wanted to quit, and I couldn't quit. So I was on another podcast, and they were giving testimonies about people microdosing mushrooms. And for those that don't know what a microdose is, you really don't feel anything. For me, it felt like I drank a strong cup of coffee, which is also a drug. But anyway, so I couldn't quit smoking weed, so I went myself to a field, got mushrooms, came home, and I did research. I tried to figure out what would be a microdose for me. And so I microdose, I put some, I said it makes me feel like a cup. I drank a cup of coffee, and I just realized both days I microdosed on a Friday and a Saturday, and I grind the little bit of shrooms up, so I didn't trip, I didn't see anything, but I put it in my coffee. And so that's probably why it made me feel like I drank a cup of coffee, because I actually did. But I didn't feel anything different. But next month, since microdosing on a Friday and a Saturday, next month will mark 3 years since I've smoked weed.
Yeah.
And so when someone asks me about shrooms, the first thing I go to is like, man, I was addicted to cannabis for 8 years, and I microdosed shrooms on a Friday and a Saturday, and I guess how many times I've done a microdose since? None. I didn't, and I still got them.
I don't care if you do cannabis from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed until you die, you are not addicted. I'm going to give my opinion too. I want everyone on Morning Maddix to know what Matt Maddix believes. I don't care from the time you get out of bed, you get high until you go to bed, until you die, you are not addicted. I'm talking if you did it 7 days a week, morning till night, you're not addicted.
Is that the same with nicotine?
I've smoked cannabis before, and all it ever did was make me hungry.
Well, because you smoked it.
Back in my fucking days.
Bacon, I love you guys. Bacon, you were going to own a dispensary. Didn't you own a dispensary once?
They want to come down here in the field and pick them all the time. They do. I'm not lying.
Well, the first time I tripped back in my partying days, we went and got a bunch of mushrooms. I had a group of friends that I knew. They was tripping on mushrooms every week. And so I did it one time. I stayed up all night writing in my journal. I'm like 27 years old. For the first time ever, I didn't do any writing. I spent all night writing in the journal, and I wrote in that journal every day for 6 months.
Hey, listen.
I spent 6 months writing off of one trip. That's how powerful. And I looked at my dumb friends, and I realized then how dumb they were. I was like, how are you doing this every week, and it's not changing your life? I've done it twice, and it's changed my life.
Hey, the land of Cana might have been the land of cannabis. You don't know. But listen, hey, hey, it's the healing plant. It's the herb. People knew the power of the seed and why the devil comes after the seed and why we're even having this. You know what? In the cosmos, they sit there and they laugh that we have debates and discussions over plants. Listen, marijuana and mushrooms are gifts. They are literal gifts. Now listen, should you be trained and educated? Duh. Yes. Nobody should do anything. You should be educated about the food. You should be educated about the pork you eat. Hello. That's exactly right.
You know, it's legal here in Oklahoma. There's cannabis dispensaries there's more of them than liquor stores.
It's legal here in Arizona, and every time I walk in there, they know me there. I'm like the mayor of my dispensaries. They love me. Listen, they say, because I'm always telling them, listen, thanks for the good work you guys do. You help people. You save families. You save veterans. You know, thank you. And you know what else I tell them? I say, my grandfather fought in 2 wars so we could have this. And if he could have accessed this, this sure would have made our family a whole lot easier.
From an outsider looking in, it is less destructive on humans than all of these prescription drugs. It's way less on the human body. Way less prescription drugs. I watch people on these opiates. It just devastates their mind, their physical body. But I see people that use cannabis and they're just as normal as me.
And personally, for me, and just like Brother Chris there with the cussing, I try to put the least amount of stimulants in my body as I can. And I'm not 100% clean. I mean, the Mountain Dew is a stimulant, but I try to put the least amount of caffeine as I can, the least amount of alcohol, and just any stimulants. I don't think it's a sin, but I want to run at my optimal, setting. And I think that with naturally, without stimulants. Now, man, if I want to go get a good jog in, I want to get a good workout in, I'll drink a 5-hour energy, which is like poison. And I go in.
But marijuana is not a stimulant. Marijuana is a healing flower. It's not a stimulant. It's not a drug. I want to erase all the doggone negative labels about marijuana in New Earth and future America. Because our children and teenagers, our soldiers and our veterans deserve better, guys. I am not here to make marijuana out to be like, I'm tired of people calling you a pothead, a druggie, addicted, stimulant, whatever. It's all doggone man-made created labels that dumb you down, weak you down, and quite frankly, try to make people feel dirty and guilty who maybe do smoke weed all day. So the heck what? Some people, I know preachers that drink more coffee before noon than most people will drink in a month. And Russell Brunson and my Mormon friends believe that coffee is a sin. A gateway drug, absolutely, it's not a gateway drug. That's another man-made label. You know, guys, sooner or later, we're going to realize that we don't have to believe all the labels they created. First of all, it's not a drug, so it's a gateway to life. It's a gateway to healing. It's a gateway to healing PTSD. Guess what else it does? It heals diseases. Do you know that during 2020, one of my homeless friends who's got extreme PTSD, who has actually a medical card who was medically prescribed, because even people that are dying of cancer, my best friend Mike, when he was dying of cancer, the doctor basically said, after all the chemo, all the surgeries, your best bet is marijuana. You hear me? And this is the BS of our society, that we've taken something that Jesus, somebody asked, would I sit around and would I drop the F-bomb and smoke a J in front of Jesus? Yes, I would, because I do it anytime I do it. I'm not separate from Jesus on the inside, working on. So Jesus would sit there and probably do a J with me. He created the J. Okay? So Jesus ate with sinners. They called him a wine bibber for a reason. They called him a cusser for a reason. People assume Jesus was this perfect. Guys, Jesus was fully man as much as he was fully God. And when people say he was without sin, who gets to define what is sin? Like I said, he turned water into wine. That would disqualify him. If any evangelists and miracle workers and healers out there who work the supernatural, we're at a wedding this weekend, and they miraculously turned water into wine, and it got on Good Morning America and CNN, and this evangelist can turn water into wine? Come on, guys. I was born at night, but not last night. So it's not a gateway drug because it's not a drug. So get smart. First of all, get educated and smart before you try to discuss marijuana. First of all, if you're calling it a drug, you're still dumb, because you go and you literally have drug stores and your grocery stores, your CVS's, your Walgreens, and you take prescriptions. If a doctor tells you, hey, go take this pill, yes, doctor. Even the Republican Christians ones will go take the pills. But what about the healing flower? No, they won't even sit down. And even if you told them it has 100 healing remedies in it, and hemp alone could basically do everything we need. You can they created the Bible paper off hemp paper, you know? I mean, hemp is powerful, huh?
If they made a marijuana pill that didn't get you high, say Sister So-and-so, she won't let you preach because you're smoking marijuana, right? And then she goes to the doctor, and the doctor gives her a marijuana pill, she'll take it.
Then I want you, Daniel, to get me the 31,102 verses, including the Old Testament. You know what I love? How many preachers pick and choose what they're going to preach out of the Old Testament? Daniel, I want you to bring me a list of all the sins we're supposed to avoid from the 31,102 verses. You give me a list starting from every cultural, why it was a sin in a certain culture. Some of it was just, it would be like, in my family, it's a sin to cheer for Ohio State. You get, it's a joke. I'm joking. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, what is a sin? It's the S. It's the serpent within. Sometimes a lot of things we call sin, God doesn't even call sin. Sometimes you're repenting over stuff, and God is like, I don't know why you're saying you're sorry.
This will shock the world, man. You know, we all have 10 commandments on the wall out of the Old Testament. There's 1,083 commandments in the New Testament alone.
Think about that. Say that again. 1,083 commandments in what?
In the New Testament alone. We had 10 out of the old on the wall, but there's 1,083 in the New Testament alone.
Well, you can't judge. People, they think they got to figure it out.
Well, you can't judge and you can't label. Here's another label we've done. Backslider, not in church. She's not in church. He's not in church. What the heck?
What is in church? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I'm living up to your standards. I'm living up to what you think I'm supposed to be doing. What does that even mean in church?
We got Zabdi over here. Here's what Zabdi said. We are not separate with Jesus. We are one with Christ. Hemp can help heal cancer, parenting. I know people that literally some of the greatest parents in the world get high every day, and they are the best humans, moral, ethical. They don't lie. They don't cheat. They don't steal. They don't, dude, imagine, why did they create such a stigma over marijuana and mushrooms? Well, let's talk about mushrooms. I've done a few mushroom trips, and my first mushroom trip shook me. And I said to myself, I'll never do this again. I said, but then, Chris, I would love to do one with you, buddy, because we would laugh.
Oh, no.
He said, ain't no way. But Parkinson's disease, yeah, it's just got too much healing elements. And okay, you got to ask, why would a government allow alcohol and cigarettes to be legal for our soldiers, but not marijuana? Has anybody got brains? If you just lay aside Bible and lay aside right and wrong, and let's just look at the human body. Marijuana is 100 times healthier for the human body than alcohol, sugar, nicotine, meat. Huh? Why don't we call meat a sin? There's a lot of people that could call meat a sin. You actually, if you study the Bible, guys, a lot of us are breaking Jewish laws. What about the Sabbath day? Hey, how many people won't let Chris come preach because he's maybe been divorced, or maybe I might get high and they get low? But the other thing is, hey, who lives it? Didn't Jesus say, he that is without sin cast the first stone? Didn't they say all have sinned? So why are we trying to create a society of, hey, even if everybody keeps saying, people's like, dude, just people keep criticizing the government. Has anybody realized what a wreck and what a mess is going on inside of our churches? And let's just say, you know what? Let's just turn the whole thing over to our pastors. We'd still be a disaster because they've had the power, the money, the influence, and here we still are. Your guys' thoughts? I guess I just said all that to say I don't believe that if someone wants to microdose shrooms or do a mushroom trip, that it's a sin or it's wrong. That's not the discussion. The discussion is, who do you do it with? Why are you doing it? And, you know, are you taught about it? You know what I'm saying? Because it is very powerful, and it can bring people even back to God, guys. Your thoughts? Why?
Unfortunately, my work phone is starting to blow up, so I gotta call some people back and get the ball rolling. But it was nice.
Hey, Chris, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I think the big question, is right there is, why aren't you doing it? Why? That's the whole thing. Why are you doing it? And you've got to answer that for yourself. Sorry, let me park this.
It looks fun.
Not letting other people answer that for you.
Well, and it just goes back to, why did Jesus come in the first place? To set us free from religion and government and to give us freedom and power and authority.
Right.
That's why he came.
People, that's the thing, Matt. People try to let everybody else answer for them instead of you answering for yourself.
Well, and we don't give each other, we freak out. For example, you ready? We freak out if, like I said, we freak out if, for example, someone needs to say, hey, yeah, Chris would enjoy a glass of wine. I would enjoy a glass of wine. I would enjoy it. Jeez, you ready? Hey, let me give you a twist. You talk about communion, right? I was thinking of this the other day. Jesus literally said the words, as often as you remember me, do this. What was he doing? Wine and breaking bread. I've gone to literal churches that give wine for communion. My only disappointment is, why such a small cup? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, geez, you remind me of the restaurants. If I say, can I get a cup of water? And the cups look like this. I'm like, no wonder we can't get healed out here, because our cups of water are this big and we got 44-ounce fountain sodas. And it's like, my question is, Chris, perhaps wine could have been a daily you talk about communion, you talk about breaking bread, give us this day our daily bread. How often Jesus used wine and bread and wine, even the Bible says a little bit of wine for your stomach's sake. And, you know, it's like the Bible really is, a lot of people immediately assume the Bible's just anti, you know, because the word alcohol is a label, it's a broad word, right? We don't even know if wine in old days would have even been considered alcohol. It very well could have been, who knows? But your thoughts?
Wine in biblical days was every meal. People need to get outside of today's culture and American culture and go study culture when the Bible was written. They had wine at every meal. Every meal.
Wow.
The kids had it, the adults had it, everybody at the table had it. Every meal.
Wow. Think about that. That's
You see, this is the thing. You need to understand that we are so hung up. And when the Pentecostal and the American church, when the American revival took place, the church took the standards as far as dress and as far as what we ate, what we drank, was based on the culture of the time. Long sleeves were adopted because everybody wore long sleeves because it was sunny and everybody worked outside. Dresses because that's what all the women wore. Hairstyles because that's how the hairstyles of the time. You want to go back and study the Bible. When the Bible was written, all of us are going to hell because men ought to be wearing dresses because that's what men wore back then. Men wore jewelry back then.
Dang, think about that. Hey, you're so right.
It's a bunch of hypocritical myths because we want to adopt American standards, the biblical standards, and you can't do it. They don't mix. But you go back to eating a meal 2,000 years ago, wine was served at every meal.
Every meal. You're right. And it was a way of life, and it wasn't considered wrong. A lot of it is the biology of belief. If you've been wired a certain way your whole life, most never get unwired. Most never get past, especially when God is attached in the Bible and fear of hell and fear of being cursed. Dude, most people can never cross over. You remember when Jesus said, hey, let's go to the other side.
Do you know why wine wasn't part of culture in America?
Why?
Because they couldn't grow grapes.
Wow.
California.
Wow. Break that down.
It's the truth. They couldn't grow grapes until they went to California. They could grow corn and make whiskey.
Wow. Whiskey.
Study your culture. Study culture. You can grow potatoes and make vodka like Russia. You can grow corn and make whiskey and rye. But they couldn't grow grapes until we got to California.
Dude.
Study culture. Take American culture out of the Bible. Take American culture out of the church.
You know what? What you just said is fire. We got people putting fire emojis. That's how much fire it is. Think of what Chris just said. Take American culture out of the Bible because, dude, you're never going to understand. The Bible is, first of all, they'll never understand it. They'll never understand God because they view God as like a Santa Claus, an Easter bunny, and, you know, that's honestly their view, like a Mickey Mouse type. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they call Avatar? Go ahead.
Aramaic. It's not even written in English. It's Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic.
And the fact that Jesus literally was not white. He wasn't American. He wasn't white. He was dark-skinned. And by the way, we got to eliminate all these labels because...
Culture and laugh.
Tell me what you imagine. Tell me, okay, paint me a picture, Chris, of what a night at the end of the day, what Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and the 12 would have been like out near the sea or the mountains?
It would have been a group. They would have had a fire. They would have all been gathered around the fire. And I promise you, they would have fought for position to see who was closest to him.
Wow.
Think about that. They would have fought for position to who could lay their head on his shoulder or his chest. And they would talk. Very intimate moments. Very intimate moments where they could talk, and then they would listen as the master spoke into the wee hours of the night. And he would have just talked and taught, and they could have talked, and it would have been very personal conversation. People thought, people think, well, it's been some deep theological thing. No. It would have been very personal conversations, I feel like, about life. About life matters, about personal things. People think
the mysteries of the kingdom, the mysteries of the kingdom, the mysteries of the parable. You had to believe he broke open because they remember the Catholic Church took the Bible and twisted. It's been edited so much, buddy. Like
they decided, you had to have these huge theological conversations. You got to understand, they were 12 humans. And Mary Magdalene and the other women that were there, they were all humans. They had human conversations about human issues, about human things, about human problems. They talked about those things. I promise you they did.
it gets uncomfortable for people to sit here and talk about this kind of stuff because they've only seen God in a box, God in one way. You can't even fit God into the Bible. The Bible's, you see your fingernail? That's like trying to fit the ocean inside it. That's like trying to fit the ocean in this Dr. Pepper cup right here. Dude, you cannot fit God and the majesty of God and the revelation of Jesus, the angels, nature, creation, the animals. Think about all the animals on the ark. Dude, I believe the Noah's Ark is here. I really believe that Noah's actual ark is here, and I believe there's stuff on the ark. There's energy frequencies, there's secrets, there's things coming out of it. You believe this?
Yeah.
Tell me what your thoughts are.
I think it's here on earth. It is on one of those mountains on Ararat, where the Bible says. It is sitting there, and there are secrets buried there. And when God is ready for humans to understand, because I don't think we can understand that stuff. I don't know how many people on here have ever been to Egypt and stood beside the pyramids. I stood there and I looked at those things. No, they're not built like they said they were built.
Wow.
Those stones are huge. They didn't drag those stones up there and stack them with elephants and sticks.
Yeah, people that believe that are like, dude, they're in the Stone Age.
They didn't do that with critters. I'm telling you. Those things are huge. I built huge buildings. I built bridges. I built big industrial projects. I stood beside those pyramids in Giza, and they did not build that with animals. I promise you. I've been to Greece, and I've stood there by the Parthenon. I've stood there by the Colosseum in Rome. They did not build that with animals. They didn't do it.
I believe this.
I'm telling you. I built stuff with huge machines and industrial stuff. And I stood there and I looked at that stuff and I told God, I said, God, one day you're going to reveal this because they lied to us.
We got lied to, Chris.
They lied to us. They didn't build this the way they said they did.
Chris, can you help people understand? Hey, thank you so much. I got people on YouTube live as well. Good to see you. We got people on Facebook, Instagram. We got Ellen Ray in the house on Instagram Live. Hey, Chris, talk to us about different cultures and why Americans need to come off their American high horses and slow down and understand that the Bible is not an American book based on American culture. Can you break down just a couple of the different cultures in Bible times and how different it would have been from us as modern day 2023 Americans?
If you just take the Greek culture, they just the Greek culture alone, they were so before they were so wound up in God, not God, in gods that weren't Jesus, they were so orderly with everything. They were all about order and structure and obedience to, you go back to Zeus and Apollo and all of those Greek gods, and they were so obedient to and disciplined in their life. So when Paul and they were going through that part of the world, it was easy to adopt. And when they brought the faith of Jesus Christ and winning them over, it was easy to once they were won over because of the discipline that they had in their lives already, they were able to take that discipline that they already had and switch their faith. Once their faith aligned with Jesus, that discipline that they already had in their culture fit right in. But here in America, we're so accustomed to just doing what we want. We take because we've got this Constitution, which I love, that gives us all of these freedoms. We are the most undisciplined country in the world.
Talk about that.
We think that we can do whatever we want, when we want, and how we want. And in many things that we can do that, but we abuse that and take it to the extreme. And if you look at some of these urban areas in the country that are just falling apart, they've taken it so far out of the box. Society is crumbling. And
so good, Chris. It's so good because it just breaks.
The church has failed because we haven't been a leader. What we have done, we have tried to, instead of being a place of freedom, we've been a place of bondage.
So true. So true, man. So what do you think confuses people most about the Bible and God's story?
What confuses people the most?
Yeah, what's keeping people tripped up from just going all in with it, man?
Because they feel like they can't have freedom, man.
Wow.
Because and the people don't, they feel like it's a bunch of bondage because you've got a bunch of hypocrites out there that want to, that's all they want to do is keep people in bondage. They want to keep their thumb on people's lives. They want to tell them what they can and cannot do. It's not my business what you do within the four walls of your home. It's not my business.
That's good. I wish everybody lived that way. How much more peaceful would it be?
I look at some of these great people out there. I look at the Mangans. I look at the Haney. two of the greatest examples within the United Pentecostal Church as far as leaders. Do you think that they really and worried about what everybody did in their house?
There's no way they could have slowed down and even thought about it.
Do you think Anthony Mangan and Vesta Mangan went and worried about what went on in everybody's house? They couldn't have, man.
Not even close. Where you at now, buddy?
No, I gotta drive.
Man, that was nice seeing your river, buddy. We got my buddy Dale Lenz on, man. We got a lot of people live on Instagram. Chloe, good to see you. Tanner was loving what we were saying about the pyramids. Most people can't handle that yet. We got...
When I look at it like that, if they look anyway, the powerful thing said to me, he said, everybody, the most rank, vile, filthy, nasty human deserves a foot of the cross. He said, and Chris, you have got to understand that. If you're ever going to be a soul winner in this world, you have got to understand that.
How do we get them to see it, Chris? Is it just going to be just keep setting light, letting the light shine, keep setting the example, the Jesus mission, all that we're doing?
You've got to look at every one of them, and you've got to see God for filth, rank, doesn't see the nasty filth. God looks at, he looks at, and that's what biblical principles. God cannot eat. He cannot.
I think you're cutting out, Bubba.
I said God cannot look at in contact. And it's the blood of Jesus Christ. Done.
Hey, do you know much about the Sumerian faith?
Sumerians?
Not the Sumerians. What do they call the oldest? What do they call the oldest faith there is? It's the from Egypt. We'll get back to it. Hey, I know you're driving, buddy. Call me later.
All right, buddy.
I love you, man. Hey, we'll see you soon. And you guys follow Chris Bacon. You'll love him. He's an inspiring soul. And if you ever need a miracle, you need someone to pray for you. Boy, he'd be one of the top calls I'd make.
You guys can be in between May 3rd and May the 9th.
Come on down, May 3rd, May 9th, between that time frame. But we're definitely over that weekend. You'll see a lot of Jesus mission activity. We're going 3 straight nights this weekend, buddy. We're lighting it up. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right, Bubba. I love you, man. Call me later, buddy. Thanks for jumping on. Did you guys love that? Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook. Look, y'all. So here it is, okay? I'm going to answer some questions. Put some questions on here. I got somebody on YouTube. Let me read the comment. Listen to what he said. And I feel his heart. I really do. He said, I listened to your preaching Addicted. And from 15 years ago. And he said, I hope you come back to a real apostolic church. Come back to a real apostolic church. You know the truth. Yes, I do know the truth. And how to be saved. I do that. I still practice that. I never stopped practicing this. And you know God is coming back soon. Yes, I do that. I was an anointed preacher, man. Man, first of all, I love the comment. Thanks for jumping on. Let me just, as if I was editing your comments for you, let me edit it for you. First of all, I love that you said that you listened to Addicted. There's some very powerful spiritual messages, and that was a message, not a sermon. Hear me, that was a message. And hey, Sherry, how you doing? That's exactly right. And so let me say, when am I coming back? Let's go through your comments. She said, I hope I come back. They all hope I come back. They hope I do and they pray I don't. Hey, they hope I do and they pray I don't. But number one, they don't understand that the Jesus mission is the definition of what they would call apostolic, which is a man-made word. It's a man-made word. The word apostolic really actually means the actions and the teachings of the apostles, not just the teachings, it's the actions. So truth, everybody needs to, not everybody, many need to actually go change the name of their church because they're not apostolic. They might be apostolic in teaching, but they are not apostolic in action. So who's more apostolic, them or me? Because if you look by action, boy, they wouldn't want to stand next to me and Jesus on Judgment Day. I can show you that. Everybody thinks I'm lost. You wouldn't want to stand next to me, would you? I don't think you would. I think you'd rather go there alone and not have to say me or Matt Maddix. Wouldn't want to do that, my friends. You don't realize what I've been doing privately out here. Hey, you don't realize what kind of life I actually live. You don't realize that the kind of mission I'm actually on. You don't realize how many souls I actually win. You don't realize how many people I actually bring to Jesus and to Acts 2:38, John 3:5, and the power of the Holy Ghost, the power of speaking in tongues, the power of laying hands on the sick, the power of casting out devils. But I'm bringing something that nobody in the apostolic church can or will bring, and that's the ability to be truthful and honest without fear of loss or no need to maintain an image. Hey, you don't need to maintain an image when you're made in the image of God. That's the only image I have, my friends. Hallelujah. Hallelujah anyhow. Not going to let life troubles get me down. No matter what troubles life may bring, I'm going to lift my head up high and sing. What? Hallelujah anyhow. So that being said, let me go through the comment here. I hope you come back to a real apostolic church. Well, first of all, how can you come back to something that you are? How can you come back to something that you are? I am the real apostolic church. If you want to try to define an apostolic church out of 4 gospels that many of them don't live, will never live, many of them don't even live the apostolic way of the original apostolics. They sold everything they had. They weren't off going to conferences in $2,000 suits and eating, steaks and golfing during the day. Hey, they were out in the woods. They were out on boats. They were out. They evangelized Asia in 2 years with no social media. So I don't know about what real apostolic church I'm supposed to go back to. The ones that bowed to the government, the ones that masked up, made you check your temperature at the door. Is that what I'm supposed to go back to? Are those the real ones? You mean the ones that shut down their churches and the saints had to stay home, but the preachers and the worshipers, the singers could come to church and have church in the office? I don't know what real one I'm supposed to be coming back to here. What's real? I think I'll stick with the one that said, follow me 14 times, and who said, you've got an anointing. You don't need any man to teach you. And you've got the kingdom within you, and everything you need is within you. And you've got my spirit. And when you got my spirit, it's like having me, and know you not that you are the temple of the living God, not the building. The building is just a place where people gather for what they call fellowship, praise, and preaching and prayer. But the church is not the kingdom. We are the church. We are preaching and building his kingdom. So what do you guys want me to do? Go back to what? People who bow and submit to a little virus, mask up, scared of Goliath? You want me to go and let people that are scared of Goliath disciple me? Man, I win more souls in a week than most preachers will win in 40 years. So inputs create outputs. I spent 24 years with them. I gave them all I had. I've got hundreds of soul winning teachings. If they still need them, I can give them to them. I still teach and preach about soul winning, but real soul winning. How many people are out casting out devils? How many people are out doing prayer marches in their cities? How many people are truly serving their cities? Jesus didn't preach a gospel of bring them. He preached the gospel of go to them. Church outside, church in the streets. In the book of Acts, an apostolic church, they scattered and they went house to house. House to house was talked about 26 times, my friends. Jesus said, my house shall be called a house of prayer. We are his house. We are his temple. You can't get out of the church because you are the church. You might leave a certain organization. You might leave a certain religion, but you are not separate from God. You are not lost. You are not cursed. You hear me, my friends? You are God's son and you are God's daughter and you are a chosen generation. And you, my friends, so it's like this. People, they want me to come back to appear more. I said, hey, I'll stay on the Jesus mission, okay? And he said, hi, everybody on Instagram. I'm also live on Facebook and YouTube. I see some awesome people jumping on here on Instagram and Facebook Live and YouTube. Are you guys loving what I'm saying here? Is it right or is it... yeah, exactly, Matt. You know what I'm saying? Me too, Sherry. What blows my mind is the amount of money people give these people. And so listen to what he said. He said, I hope I come back to a real apostolic. Dude, I was more apostolic in 2020 than probably almost all of them, but at least 99% of them. Outside of my buddy, I think Judah Spell's on here. Boy, I don't know how you're connected to Tony Spell. To me, I don't know how he's not the keynote preacher of every... You want to talk about apostolic? Really? Did they protect Tony Spell? Did they protest? How many apostolic protests? No. What do you got? What do we got? 20 million apostolics? How many of them really protested and supported and backed a pastor? You ready for this? Who went to prison for preaching? Kind of sounds like Jesus and the apostles to me. That's kind of teaches me and who leads me. Jesus said the blind lead the blind. You're both going to follow. If the blind's going to fall in the ditch, I'll go down and help them. But I can't help the blind if I'm in the ditch with them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Is this okay? Is it right? It's tight. Oh, Judah is his son. I didn't know that. Wow, Judah, dude. Your father, I have so much respect for. I pray for your family and, you know, I just respect in your whole family. But, so it's like, yeah, I know I am, for they know not. Forgive them for they not, you know, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. God's going to raise up Tony Spell. I don't appreciate the lack of, he should have had the most fanatical, radical support. I can't believe there wasn't millions in the streets of Louisiana. Blows my mind, literally blows my mind. They arrested a pastor in America who is reaching hundreds of inner city kids and feeding them and blessing them. This is what the church was supposed to do during a pandemic. So what do you want me to go back to that and submit and let them now have full control of my social media and everything that comes out of my mouth? No, thank you. That's what you call cults and Kool-Aid. That's what you call danger. That's what you call false. That's what you call be careful. That's what you call work out your own salvation. That's what you call you're anointed. You have the kingdom. You have the power. You have it within you, my friends. So listen to me. For you to assume that because I'm not going back, you ready for this, to an apostolic church, and I'm not dishonoring the word apostolic, but most people that claim to be apostolic, you're as Catholic as the Catholics. You think you're apostolic because you go to an apostolic church and you pay tithes or you live the apostolic rules? Dude, you couldn't even stand next to the apostles. They would look at you and just laugh. They would look at you and just chuckle. They would look at you like a lion in the jungle looks at a little rat. You know, so it's one of those things where, and I know what he means, and I don't mean this bad at all against you, brother. I really appreciate your comment, okay? I'm only breaking your comment apart, not at you. I personally respect you for the comment, and I think you got a great energy, and I feel good about you. So I need you to know, as I'm breaking apart your comment, in no way am I attacking or criticizing you, my friend. And I mean that from my heart, because I respect you for being here, and I respect anybody willing to open up conversation and dialogue. I respect anybody that's willing to just sit down and talk about stuff, okay? So here's my question. You know, and then he said I was really anointed, and I know that. I was anointed, but I'm more anointed than I've ever been. If you thought I was anointed before, well, then get excited. Man, if you thought I was anointed before, you should get radically excited. You should get fired up. Hey, Zach, what's going on with you? Zach is back, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, I am here to lead the apostolics. I am here to mentor and coach them and support them and, you know, push them, provoke them. Like they say, the job of a preacher is just to comfort the afflicted and then afflict the comforted. Meaning I am here to heal the sickest, the brokest, the poorest, the widows, the fatherless. I am here to be a healer and a giver of the oil and the wine and a giver of love and a giver of truth and a giver of light. Here is light. I am here for the poor. I am here for the misfits. I am here for the backsliders. I am here for the chosen ones. I am here for what they call the black sheep, which is a stupid terminology we need to eliminate. Hey, now that we're eliminating everything black, we need to stop calling people black because they're not black. And we're not white. The fact that you believe we're white and they're black, you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb. You're what they call freedom, and you don't even know that when they call freedom, they're laughing at you that you call it freedom. I don't. I call it freedom. Hey, do you have free dome, or are you free dumb? Huh? Are you dumb? Are you going to be free? Are you going to be a fighter? Are you going to be a fanatic? Are you going to be a radical? Are you going to have a little Irish in you? Are you going to have a little culture in you? Are you going to have a little personality? Are you going to have a smile? Are you going to have some boldness? Huh? Are you going to have some passion? Are you going to have some courage to say, I love what Joshua said. Hey, as for me and my house, I can't speak for anybody else, but we're going to serve God. You know, as for me and my house, we're going to serve God, and that's it. You know, and a lot of you serve your celebrities, you serve your politicians, you serve your religions, you serve your businesses, you serve everything but God. Somebody on Instagram Live asked if I'm still connected to my former organization. No, I left them 7 years ago, and when I left, I left. I left. Now that being said, let me answer that. I am connected, even though I left. You guys ever want to hear why I left? Did I leave? Did I leave them, or did they leave me? That's the deepest question. What if they left me and I didn't leave them? Or what if God said, ooh, I like this one, I'm going to save him? What if God said, you know what? I'm going to save and protect Maddix. I'm going to give this kid a break. Man, you know what? He's too valuable to let them keep, you know, and he's not, I don't know, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's not as bad as you thought. Maybe it's totally opposite and it's not as bad as you thought because they forever got to deal with me and I would never hurt them. I'm not here to be anti anybody out there that's, Jesus said, if they're not against us, leave them alone. I am not anti. There's not one reality in which I would try to do anything to hurt the UPC. No reality. I have way too much respect for the people of that movement. There's just no reality. They are good people out there. There's more good than bad, I believe. But it's the overall system, the overall culture that people like me couldn't survive. What? I mean, I would have gotten arrested during 2020. I was downtown feeding the homeless every day. I had the cops come after me a few times, but I was just blessed not to be arrested. But you know what? Would they have protected me if I'd have gotten arrested? No. They would have said, well, Matt, you shouldn't have done it. You should have, you got to honor the government. Basically what they're really saying is you got to submit. You got to comply. If you comply, you die. If you comply, you can't fly. If you comply, you a lie. Hey, comply, lie. Comply, lie, mask, ass. Mask ass because you're an ass, because you're a jackass. You're not a racehorse. You're a jackass. We got Rissa in the house. How you doing, Rissa? What's going on with you? Because people really do get into clinical psychedelics. What exactly did you mean about losing your mind? I don't really believe I lost my mind. I believe I found it. I don't believe I was lost. I believe I was found, and I don't believe for 1 second I was cursed. I believe I was blessed. I don't believe I was rejected. I believe I was protected. And that's my honest belief. In fact, I don't even believe it. I know it. I know I was. I know I was protected, not rejected. I know I was extremely blessed, not cursed. I know I was extremely, my friends. You hear me? So that being said, listen, I got to read the comments on Instagram, Facebook friends. How's my Facebook friends over there doing? At YouTube, I have not tried to grow my YouTube channel. I've not tried to grow any of my social media. To be quite frankly, you can call it rebellion if you want. You can call it just flat out stubbornness. I don't know what you want to call it. Okay? I don't know what you want to call it. I'm going to come read the comments here. I was trying to read them on my computer. I don't know what you want to call it. If I was stubborn, if it was pride, if it was just like the bumper sticker. Jesus, I love you, but please save me from your people. Meaning there's a mix of it all. There's a mix of, hey, did God protect me and save me? Did the enemy just literally beat the you-know-what out of me and God let him? You don't do the things I've done, go the places I've gone. You ready for this? Not only what I've done, but what we're doing and where we're going. Hey, not only what we've done, but what we're going to do is going to look like what we've done, like a thumbnail to a galaxy. My friends, some of us are here with absolute all of God, all of the angels, all of the anointing and wisdom that flows down from the heavens. And literally the God force flows through our brains, our souls. And you're not just hearing somebody rant and rave on Morning with Maddix. Yes, you got to get past maybe my personality or my delivery, but God likes variety. Have you not looked at all the variety of humans? Have you not looked at the contrast of creation? Didn't God say, I, the Lord, created good and evil? Oh, what are you going to do when you find out your God created evil too? And the duality of good and evil is literally in all of you. All of you have a snake within you. All of you have an angel within you. All of you have Jesus. All of you have a dark demonic force. Call it generational curses. Call it Satan himself. Call it Lucifer. They call him Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Could it be three different beings? If there's a manifestation of the Father, a manifestation of the Holy Ghost, and a manifestation of the Son, J-E-S-U-S. Hey, maybe there's a manifestation of a Lucifer. Maybe there's a manifestation of Satan. Maybe there's a manifestation of the devil. We don't know. It's a revelation. That's why they call it Genesis in the beginning, which is organic, which is pure, which is all natural, which is about nature, which is about man literally being created from nature, which is why you need the earth. You don't need the earth. You need to go walk on the grass. You need to go walk on the grass so you can get home, so you can reconnect with home. I don't understand why you have a higher priority to charge your phones than you do your bodies. And you wonder why you ain't got no doggone energy. Where's your energy? We got Lulu in the house. Lulu ain't no shoo-shoo. Lulu, how you? How my buddy Donald? He ain't a Donald Duck. He's more powerful than a truck. Hey, what are you doing here, Risa? You fired up from old Canada. Oh, does God need to heal our land? Your land needs healing. You need Canadian culture back. The Canadians have lost their way, and I can tell you more about Canadian culture than most Canadians. I'm more Canadian than the Canadians, and I'm definitely more American than the Americans. But I know Canadian culture. I know real Canadians are powerful. Hey, don't sleep on the French. Don't sleep on the French. Hear me? We need a guitar special, says Tim Downs. I tried to bring you on video yesterday. Touchdown. Hey, Tim Downs. What song you want me to sing today? You guys, quit talking about the devil. Quit talking about Satan. Quit talking about Lucifer. Quit talking about demons. Cast them mofos out. They fell like lightning. They literally have no hope. They're tormented with fear. You say the name Jesus, they tremble. You literally have more authority. Jesus said, I give you power to tread on scorpions and over all the power of the devil. And friends, when you submit to God, there is no door he can open to get to you. The fastest way to close the door on darkness is get on your knees in the morning, throw your hands in the air and say, God, I'm starting this day submitted to you. My Father in heaven, great is your name. Somebody over here, Risa, says she loves my personality. All right, Risa, that's what I love because you got personality. So here's a question about psychedelics, psychos. You talking about psycho, or somebody said me losing my mind? Well, I mean, when you've gone to 100+ homeless teen shelters in America, and you've looked at gray walls in homeless shelters with no air conditioning and 200 young people stuck in it, and they're eating shit basically, and their water's shit. And their walls are gray. There's no color. There's no decoration. There's no music playing. There's no vibe. There's no culture in there. It's just gray walls. They get basically a twin-size bed, and many of them are sharing rooms, and they don't have much. Many of them not even a pillow. And if they do have a pillow, have you ever seen the pillows that are in these shelters? Have you ever seen the pillows and blankets they give you in our prisons or jails? It's bad enough someone's got to go to jail or a prison, but to give them shit food and shit water and shit blankets and shit pillows, you're shit. Anybody that does that, you're shit. Hey, government is to govern. It's to govern a society of love, peace, justice, and safety. Hey, liberty and justice for all. Why do they say that's a pledge of allegiance to the liberty and justice for all? Do we have liberty? Do we have liberty? Why don't I look up what the word liberty means? Let's start there. Google, what does the word liberty mean? Because it's in our Pledge of Allegiance. What does a liberty mean? Wow, state of being free within society. Why? Are you free in the dome? Are you living in the dome? Are you free in this dome? And are you free out in this dome? No. You're in a mental prison, and you're in a prison on earth because you don't know how powerful you are. You don't know how creative you are. You don't know the healing frequencies within your own mind, your own body, your own soul, your own words. You don't know the power of your own self. And why Jesus wanted you to go in, and why you're ready for this. How can you survive Christianity when the basics of meditation are considered satanic, while they have doggone Easter bunnies coming to church? They hire Easter bunnies to pass out Easter eggs. But meditation is demonic. I laugh at this stuff. I'm like, I know I'm wearing a rosary. I know I'm wearing a rosary. church mothers will rip the shit out of you for posting I meditated. I remember tweeting that Caleb and I just finished meditating. And you would have thought that we just got done coming out of a porno strip club with cocaine and racks of, meth and 10 bottles of whiskey in a cave. You'd have thought that like World War III started when I posted that. We just got done meditating on the beach. I lost preaching engagements over it. I lost, back then I had a soul winning training center, and you could pay $9.95 a month and you would have access to all my soul winning teaching. And I had like 250 soul winning teaching in there: how to win your family, how to witness to, a Trinitarian, how to witness to this person, how to talk to someone about baptism, how to pray someone through the Holy Ghost. It was all how-to teaching, whatnot, how to do guest follow-up, how to teach a Bible study, how to talk to somebody about Jesus. Wow, you wouldn't be surprised how many people full of the Holy Ghost, putting everybody else in hell, but with absolutely zero conviction, passion, or boldness to go talk to somebody about one simple thing: Jesus. Jeez, it's us. Jeez, us. That's what Jesus was saying. Hey, it's you, not me. I and my Father are one. What I do, you can do. Peter, I walk on water. You can walk on water. He said, hey, you can speak to mountains. You can affect nature. You don't know how much Jesus did with the elements, do you? No, because you don't study the elements, because you think the elements are witchcraft. They think the element are witchcraft. If I light a candle, it's witchcraft. Or if I meditate, it's witchcraft. Or if they can't. Okay, I didn't know that. But you had Easter this Sunday, and you put all kinds of spells on your church with Happy Easter, everybody. I don't know why they chose me to come here. The word liberty means the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions. Well, how many you got restrictions on your house? You got restrictions on your car. You got restrictions at work. You got restrictions at church. You got restrictions on your social media. You got doggone restrictions. Your brains are so twisted with rules that you're fools. Rules are just fools. Can't say rule without sounding like a fool. What the doggone heck is a rule to a sovereign divine being put on a planet Earth to live here, to raise frequency, to take care of animals and children, and make this earth more beautiful, more colorful, more creative? No homeless people lest they want to be. No missing children. Zero. We have the ability right now. We have the technology that no child could ever be missing on this planet more, you ready for this? More than 60 seconds. Hey, if you ever want brainstorm on how to elicit a fear within men that they've never seen in their entire lives and nor will ever see again, to not even think about raping a lady or a boy. Jesus have mercy. They're raping boys nowadays. You perverts. What kind of sick pervert are you? And, to do this, hey, how we doing on Instagram? We got Edison here. I got a lot of people that watch over here on Instagram. I really appreciate all the comments. I'm missing my comments on Facebook, but I will come back. Yeah, it's like I went to, they canceled me from preaching because I tweeted I meditated, which means I sat my ass down for 20 minutes and I shut up. I didn't talk. I sat there and I just sat there in silence. I didn't chant to no other gods. I wasn't worshiping the sun. I was just sitting there enjoying the silence for once. I was enjoying stillness. Didn't David say he leads me beside the still waters? Didn't the Bible say that Mary sat still and heard his feet? And the Bible said that it's a still small voice. You know why you don't hear God? Because you're not still. You're busy. It's too noisy. It's noisy everywhere in your life. Your minds are so clouded that it's going to take me a long time just to uncloud y'all. It's going to take me a long time to uncloud you. But then people tell me, I had somebody tweet at me the other day and they said, there are people, literally, I'm talking, I got this 2 months ago. It was one of the biggest hateful messages I think I ever got. I never finished the 4 year. Oh, let me tell you the funny story about Greg Godwin and David Smith. I'm going to tell you funny about them. I'll tell you funny about Tim Downs. These are people that are soul winner boot camp people. I think, Tim, you might have been there for this one in Zanesville, Ohio. And by the way, it's like, okay, so I meditate. Well, you medicate. I meditate. I'm not medicated, but I'm meditated. Hey, oh, I didn't take any pills this morning, but the gospel. Huh? The gospel? Pill? Trying to NLP you already to take pills? Hey, come on, somebody. Listen to me. Remember this. The Bible was not even written in English. It wasn't written in America. It wasn't written from people in American culture. It wasn't written from American preachers. It was written of people in the wild, people of nature, people of deep levels of nature, people in caves, people in prisons. You hear me? People that went through all kinds of supernatural. Moses talking to a burning bush. Guys, animals were talking in the Bible. You can't handle the Bible if you really knew it, but you want to preach it and get rich off of it. Okay. Good luck with that one, my friends. Good luck with that one. Mary pondered. The Bible said David meditated. It literally says, actually, I'll prove it to you guys right now. David said in Psalms 119, verse 15, I will meditate. And everybody's like, well, I hope you're thinking about God while you're meditating. I'm like, well, you know, I'm actually thinking about memories with my grandma. I'm actually thinking about some moments with my son. I let my mind be. I'm not over here trying to control it. I'm letting thoughts just kind of swirl around, and I'm just kind of paying attention to them, letting some of them be, changing some of them, reconstructing some of them, settling some of them, sending some of them away, you know, guys. And so the unhealthiness in church culture. So here's what's the problem. Everybody thinks I'm bitter when I'm not bitter, my friends. Is this now considered angry and bitter? When you do this, is this now considered you're a person, you're angry and bitter? Have you guys not heard of passion? Have you not heard of authority? I guess in this earth plane, I guess you would be considered, I guess a guy like me would probably be considered extreme. I'm just like, I thought this shit was normal. I'm just like, I don't get what I'm saying. It doesn't feel normal. Actually, my friends, you ready for this? In Psalms chapter 19, verse 4, it says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Well, the meditation of your heart, how's the meditation of your heart going? And let me ask you, can God be, David said, God, let the words of my mouth, so your words and the meditation of your heart be acceptable in your sight. So what does he mean? He says, God, when you look down, I want my meditation, okay, and my words to be acceptable in your sight. No, it's in the King James. I'm sorry to inflate your religious arrogance and your religious lack of knowledge and your religious self-haughty righteous of thinking everything is satanic and everything is witchcraft, when in reality, you participate in more witchcraft than you can shake a stick at. And your words alone are witchcraft called spelling. And you're not realizing that a lot of the words that you use are literally satanic words. And he's happy you're saying them. But you don't stop to slow down when David said, let the words of my mouth. Every word matters. Every thought matters. You hear me? Who you let touch you matters. Who you let get around you matters. Everything is energy, everything. That's why David was a person of nature. These people did not resurrect modernized buildings with air conditioning and screens and all kinds of stuff now. You got Wi-Fi in churches now. Jesus, can we not go anywhere and not have, why do you need Wi-Fi in church? Is there anywhere we can go now where we're just not having doggone electronics stuck in our faces? Is there anywhere? That's why I like to stay on the Jesus mission, because I'm outside. I'm in nature. I'm among the poor. I'm among God's. Yesterday, guys, I say this, Sunday, I literally spent 10 hours on a personalized Jesus mission. Yesterday, with an intention to maybe do 30 minutes, turned into 6 hours. 6 legit straight hours of the most radical, intense, deep Jesus mission among the poorest, among those who just most people would walk by and pass off as whatever, but the cheat codes, the wisdom, the downloads, the skills, the knowledge, and literally know beyond a shadow of a doubt I was interacting with supernatural angels yesterday. I know it. And my point in saying all that is what? So I'm not apostolic? What? Name one thing that I do. I want to know. I'm asking every human on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook to name one thing I do that's not apostolic. I would love for all those who have the perfect definition of apostolic, though I just gave it, because even according to the dictionary, even Webster knows that the word apostolic just means the teachings and the actions of the apostles. Well, how many apostles were there? 12. Have you read Thomas's book? Nope. You have not? Have you read any of the writings of Mary? Do you know about the lost books of the Bible? No, because every word, really? How come they have a King James and now they have a New King James? Wow. Why do you need a New King James version? What needed to be changed? I thought every little letter was from God. I thought every little dot was from God. It is. But even the Bible gives us the revelation that it said there were many things that Jesus did, that if everything was written, the world itself couldn't even contain the volumes of books that should be written about him. There's books upon books upon books, because no human can ever figure out God. You can't. Most people can't even break down the human similarity of us and God. And most people don't understand the wildness of God's personality. Most people don't understand there were times that God himself, and please don't freak out by this word, but failed. He said, I repented me that I made man. He was like, there's times when God himself questioned things that he's like, and it's one of those, and I don't say that dishonoring at all. And he knows that. He's my father, but it's like, there's certain times, but believe you me, my friends, it all comes together in the end. And my point in saying that is true. King James was evil. These men were corrupt. The Catholic Church has had its hands on our Bibles, guys. Our Bibles came through the Catholics and the government. Wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Our Bible was given to us by a king, not a prophet, not a preacher, a government official. This in front of your face is a King James version. Well, what other versions are there? Are you aware of the other versions? Are you aware of the lost writings? But are you aware of not only the lost writings, but the writings that are not lost that they will not let you read? No, you're not aware of that, because you're just going to believe anything and everything out here as long as your preacher says it and as long as your mother says it. And we were actually taught to question everything. We were born with all the knowledge of the universe we were born with. But that's why they hurry up and try to put you through indoctrination through what? Churches and schools. What are they? They're indoctrination places that are going to teach you everything you need to know about life and God, when in reality you were born knowing everything you need to know. And if you would have connected with nature more, and you would have connected with masters and sat at you really understood the Bible and the variety of culture, and how many times they would go off for years and disappear from society, and they would be tribes, and they would be off into mountains, and they were travelers, they were wanderers, they stayed in strangers' houses. There was a world of hospitality. They didn't have jobs. They didn't live in normal society. They were wanderers of the wild. And we're trying to fit this whole Christianity culture in the Bible, and look what it's done to our society. How well have it done with it? Exactly, Tanya. I didn't know you were still on. Tanya, Natasha, and Jeremiah. I'll get back to all your comments, Sherry. I love them all. I'm going to read this one. Rosemary in the house. I'm going to delete somebody and add you as a friend. How's my boy Carson Holden in the house from Ohio? Boy, Carson, man, when you going to go ahead and just go ahead and marry that girl, buddy? You love her. Ain't nothing wrong with getting married. My Grandpa Davis got married when he was 18. My Grandma Davis was married when she was 17. And guess what, buddy? They built houses. They were farmers. They were godly. They stayed married 70 years, had 6 kids, changed the world. And look, do it, Bubba. I'm proud of you. Looks like she's the one, man. You got my approval. You guys make a powerful couple. So don't wait, my friends, but don't rush. Wait till you're 25. I'm just kidding. Here's the story, Tim Downs. You ready? We're in Ohio. And we're baptizing this lady, and she was larger, and she couldn't fit into the baptismal tank. And you got to know the personality of David Smith and how Southern and country and Cajun and practical he is. He might be one of the most Cajun, country, practical Southern preachers you might ever meet, but one of the funniest, just funny. David Smith knows how to just, guys, God has a sense of humor. He likes rejoicing and laughing. He loves laughter. He loves celebration. He loves feasts. The whole Bible was basically about feasts and celebrations and, just living a life of just celebration and happiness and rejoicing and dancing and love. But anyways, he goes, we get to baptizing this lady, and she barely fit the baptismal tank, but she had extremely large breasts. I'm talking top 3 largest I've ever seen. And so large that when we baptized her, and even though she could barely fit it because she was larger, her breasts were so big that, and you imagine seeing this on video and the comments in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, you remember it, TD, is we baptized her and she goes down. She was so excited, but her breasts did not get baptized. So I look at David in desperation, and I'm holding her underwater, and I'm recognizing, dude, we're not fully baptizing her. People get mad at me if I leave an elbow out. Imagine how they feel that I'll baptize her breasts. I look at David Smith because I had to have help baptizing her because I couldn't get her all the way down myself. And so Tim goes, or not Tim, he was there, but David goes, he just starts splashing water over her breast because there was no way to put them back when we were going to put our hands on them to get under. Because I looked at her and I was holding her hands, and I looked at him and I was frozen. But so I kept her under because we wanted to make sure to get her breasts baptized. And she was under, but her breasts were not. So I'm not joking. And if you knew David Smith, you'd had to know him. This is what he did. He goes, he's standing, he starts splashing water on her breast, and then he goes, G name. When he said G name, I brought her back up, right? We brought her back up. God bless her heart. There's no recovering from me at this point. We had the funniest baptism, guys. If I started to tell you all the baptisms, listen, baptisms are therapeutic because you never know what you're going to see. You never know what you're going to experience. And listen to me, we've experienced. We've literally been in the middle of a lake with pastors before and him getting ready to baptize somebody. Anyway, so he goes, G name, and he splashed, and then her breast got covered with water because he was splashing and covering them because it was an official baptism. And we cried laughing. We had to escape and excuse ourselves. And I had to wait for someone else to come over and pray over her because there was no returning. You can say, well, you're not sincere. You can say, well, that's not godly. Well, then God bless you. Send me some cupcakes or some crumble cookies or something because, listen, I'm a human being. And when my buddy, I looked at him thinking, what do? Do we redo this? Do we get her out of the water? I'm not thinking we splash her breath. We cover her. sense a wave pool to get her under the water. So, anyways, no, don't, you cannot steal my stories, Manny. I will come after you. I'm just playing, but no, you cannot steal my stories. But yeah, you can tell it. But no, anyways, so she was baptized in Jesus' name. But the purest part about it was as he's splashing, he looks at me and he goes, "Gee, name." I thought, let's get, I got her up. She didn't see we were laughing because we immediately got her on the water, hands up. Close your eyes, raise. That's the moment you got to get your close your eyes, raise your hands. And I just had to turn them loose. I had other preachers close by, come over here and pray. I walked over around the corner. I was laying on the ground. I was screaming. My head was hurt. My head was hurting so bad that there was no recovery. There was no recovery because that's just how funny and Cajun and practical David Smith was. And hey, we believe in baptizing. If we got a splash, if your breasts are too big to go under the water, ladies, don't worry. We're practical, And it was just a moment where you didn't know what to do, but we made it happen. And I could tell you guys the funniest stories of Soul Winners boot camps between all of us. And but that's the point is yeah, I was at the point of almost doing that. Like the natural instinct to push him down felt the natural thing to do, like just push him down. But I didn't want to be the one to do that. I didn't want that to end up on YouTube. So I just held her under. I feel more bad for holding her under than I would have pushing them down because I was more at risk of drowning her because this poor lady's like, how much did I got? She's squirming to get up, but there's no room in the horse trough because she was that bigger that she couldn't get up. And so I actually couldn't get up without me pulling her up. And so, but we got it done, my friends. We got it done in Jesus' name. She's going to make it to glory now. And, it was worth it. Hey, when you're a soul winner, you do whatever it takes, my friends. There are no limits that you do not go to. But one of the funniest things I've ever experienced was being with Mike Hopkins and baptizing somebody. And the pastor looks at us with the most freaked out look that I think I've ever seen. But a look of desperation as if, please don't embarrass me in front of my lady. Please don't embarrass me right now. It's kind of like that look your friend gives you, like, please don't embarrass me. Because we're standing out there in the lake and he's got this guy wanting to get baptized. And Mike and I are out there to be a part of it because we brought him. But we're letting the pastor baptize him so they can have a connection. So we're standing out there and he looks at us and the dude's getting ready to get baptized and we're praying for him. We got his hands in the air. We're praying. And he leans over to me and Mike and he goes, how do I baptize him? And I was like, this is the host pastor of the church. And I'll never forget, guys. I laughed. Snot come out of my nose because have you ever had an instant laugh that caused snot to come flying out of your nose? Because I thought he was joking. But he had a look of desperation and panic because all the saints were watching and, and we're out in the lake and he didn't want it to be known, which I don't blame him. And I would never embarrass him. I would never have done that. I wouldn't. I don't believe in that. I'm not that way. I'm really not. But he goes, dude, I got YouTube videos of people coming out literally cussing the devil, calling him a mother effing liar. Coming out, speaking in tongues. How do you feel? Devil's a mother effing liar. I mean, I have a video of a Canadian lady, tattoos all over herself. She was from a single mother shelter, a battered woman shelter. She had been through it all. And when you've been through the stuff they've been through, they're going to come out of the baptism calling the devil a mother effing something. And anyway, so long story short, he falls. I got to get... Hey, so long story short, I laughed a snot. I laughed a snot because it was so funny because he had a look of panic, but he had a look of sincerity, and it was multiple looks that I saw in multiple seconds because I'm a reader of energy and I'm a reader of body language, and it was a look of like, please don't leave me out here. But I was like, bro, could you not have practiced? We got everybody with phones and cameras out. We got my man hands in the air crying, getting ready to get baptized, and now all of a sudden you're asking me, how do I baptize him? Well, basically, you see, you just simply put him under the water and say, in Jesus' name. Bring them up. Don't hold them under. The truth is, I don't hold people underwater longer than maybe 3 to 5 seconds because it depends on how bad their sin is. You know, when I baptized my sister, I had to hold her under like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. She's probably watching the replay or the live. But no, my point is I looked at him and fired back naturally. And I feel bad, but I was like, you don't know how to baptize him? Like a question. I was like shocked. I was like, are you joking? Like, we're leaning and whispering. This dude's up here praying, and Mike's looking at me because Mike was pure. Mike Hopkins came out of Minnesota. He was a northerner. He was a first-generational Pentecost. He wasn't into all the name and blab it and grab it and all this fluff. He wasn't into all the names and all the politics and all the who's who. He was just pure. Him and his wife were pure. They were real. They were humble. Probably why they were on my team, because it's just kind of the people I love to hang around. People that are real. People that won't squeal. You know what I'm saying? And so, hey, I said, Mike's staring at me. I'm staring at him. I snotted, laughing, but I felt bad because the pastor looked at me like hurt that I laughed. But I was also hurt that here you are. Wait a minute. I missed my son's baseball game for this event. You know, I'm preaching here, and I need a little more preparation that you don't know how to baptize before we're baptizing. So I didn't say this, but my brain's flashing thoughts. And while I'm trying to fight back laughter, while I'm looking at Mike who's fighting back laughter, and he just loses it. And I'm like, if Mike Hopkins loses it, there's no hope. If he takes off laughing, we're going to leave this dude unbaptized. And so were her mountains real? Yeah, she was, they really were. She was authentic. She was 100% real, Melissa. Yeah, exactly, Tim. The religious just couldn't handle us. We were bringing in sinners, and they would look at us like, what are you doing? We were like, we're bringing sinners to church. You ever know what it's like to feel like an outcast? Well, let me tell you, I know what it's like. You ever know what it's like to get weird looks, basically? Every church you go to, because the people you bring in are just the most rawest, poorest, dirtiest, rankest sinners, but the coolest, but the funnest, but the rawest, but the real. And I'm like, I wish this church would realize I just brought them gold. I brought them gold, and you're kicking the gold out. Because they want the doctors, they want the people that look good, and the people that can pay tithe, and the people that can work, and the people that can. You know how church culture is. But anyways, he goes, so I said, well, lean him back in the water and say, I now baptize you in Jesus' name. And he goes, oh. I said, yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. And he's baptized. It changed his life. It changed his life. I thought, wow. Didn't know that part of this mission was to train the pastor how to baptize. Do you ever think about what I would do at nights when I would go back to the hotel room? Imagine the stuff. Okay, so because I would preach, also people would come up for prayer. You want to hear the stuff people have asked me to pray for? Do you want to hear the confessions I've heard right in our altars? Do you want to hear the confessions and the things that I have been asked to pray for? and maintain professionalism and maintain, here I am, one of the most sense of humor, down to earth, raw, just normal human beings, and I have had the wildest stuff thrown at me and have had to play poker face and keep myself from either running or screaming, laughing, or just ripping into them and chewing them out. I go from many different, see, when I meet people, I go from wanting to just say, you're weak, you're soft, you're a pansy, you're a complainer. I go from that to wanting to just encourage the heck out of them and build them up and, you know, you're amazing and you can do it. And or some humans I just want to run from and be like, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want you near me. I don't even want you to have my cell phone number. I don't want to be Facebook friends, right? Or there's the contrast of, oh, come on, Mark's dropping some truth. Tim, you could probably come on here and you and I could, for an hour, you want to talk about comedy? Tim Downs and I could stand here and each just tell a story after another. You tell one, I tell one. From the pastors and pastors' wives and the hate and the ridicule and the religious slander that we both received, who went all through Pentecost, bringing in the most radical soul-winning baptisms, Holy Ghost infillings, you know, sinners, churches filled with sinners. Boy, they love the numbers, but they don't love the people. Beware of movements that love numbers more than they love the people who are the numbers, right? The people are the numbers. Oh, dude, Tim, come on tomorrow morning. Why don't you do it? Why don't you say I'm coming on? All you got to do is just go live with me and I can tell you some stories and Tim could tell you some funnies about that. You could tell so many raws. But no, I'm not bitter. I'm not anti. I'm not hateful. I'm just one who's seen a lot, and I'm here to tell stories. This is Morning with Maddix. This is me just talking to you, encouraging you. This is me giving you something to think about, cry about, pray about, worry about. No, I'm just joking. Don't worry about nothing. Yeah. Come on, Tim. You want to jump on? Send a video invite. This will be a blast. This will be a moment in history. I got to update the comments to find you, Tim. Hey, what we'll do, Tim, let's do it tomorrow because I'd rather us have at least an hour to talk. And I've already been in going, 3 hours now? And why don't we do it tomorrow? Unless you just want to come out and tell a couple of stories. But I'd rather us be able to just teach some soul winning, teach some church building, tell how to come back from failures, tell people what to do, you know, how to come back. How to overcome a past, how to overcome accusations and attacks, but also how to have such a pure heart of soul winning and tell some of the good, tell some of the miracles, tell some of the times God provided, tell some of the times that, you know, vans were given to you and homeless person gave you, you know, money or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do that. That'll be fun. Tell your real story, and there'll be people out there that need to be praying for and supporting Tim Downs. You're going to have to deal with this anyways, because I'm going to have Tim be a part of the Jesus mission without question. Part of the Jesus mission trips. And we got them coming. We really have them coming, my friends. I know you don't believe it, but Noah kept saying it was going to rain, didn't he? It rained. Hey, it rained. Jesus kept saying, hey, there's one coming. John the Baptist said, there's one coming after me who's mightier than I. He came. Jesus said, don't worry, when I leave, the Holy Ghost is going to come. It did. Hey, come on, somebody. Can't fight nature. Can't fight God. Can't fight the angels. Can't fight the ancestors. Can't fight the animals. How you doing, Jim Snell? Jim Snell, we got the prophet here, Clayton, in the house. Got to talk to him on the phone last night. We got Chakota. Chakota, how you doing? We got Emily on Facebook Live watching. Excited to see you in Jesus' name. Mark and Tanya are on their way to Phoenix. I don't know if Mark's still live, but tell him to give me a ring after lunch today. I'm getting ready to go get some, take care of something and grab a quick lunch, and then I'll be free to get catch up with you guys. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have so much fun. Patrick, I spent probably 3 hours with Patrick last night, Mark and Tanya. He's fired up. He's going to be a part of our 3-day Jesus mission. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we got a 3-day revival coming. We got 3 days of harvest. We got 3 days of serving. We got 3 days of being in the field. Where's the treasure? The field. Where's the coin? The fish's mouth. Where are you going to find the money? In the fish. Where are you going to find the treasure? In the field. How are you going to find the fish? By hoping they show up at your church? No, you got to go to the water. You got to go fish. You got to use bait, right? Come on, somebody. It's about a message of going. Even Jesus didn't try to build a huge mega following. Most of the time, he sent them back. He's like, you know what? I want you to go home to your friends. Tell them the great thing God's done. He didn't give them 10,000 rules. The woman caught in adultery. He just said, hey, babe, go sin no more. You're okay now. It wasn't an angry chew out, cuss, you suck. He was fighting he fought for the failures. He fought for the adulterers. He sat with the prostitutes. He ate with sinners. He drank wine. Oh, what would you do if you found out Jesus drank wine? Would that wreck your faith? Would that wreck your faith if you knew that he and the apostles and even his mother Mary and Joseph and Mary Magdalene drank wine? Would that wreck your faith if you knew that? Huh? Would that take you off your religious high horse of all the people you're judging out here? What would that do to you, my friend? Come on, Natasha and Jeremiah. How radical are you? It starts Thursday night this week. 2 more nights. 1 more night. The treasure is in the field, and all you got to do is yield. Yield to the fact that the treasure is in the field. Take care of God's business, he'll take care of your business. Boy, you take care of God's business, he'll take care of your business, guys. Come on down. If you can come down Friday even, Natasha, Jeremiah, come down Friday even. Come down Friday night, Saturday night. You know, guys, we overestimate and overthink things. We overplan sometimes, and we don't have enough spontaneity. We don't have enough following the Spirit. We don't have enough saying, you know what, heck it, let's do it. We don't have enough like saying, you know what, let's do it. Or sometimes I get it. Some people financially can't. Your schedule, I understand that. Because look, it was a tight time for many of us out here financially. Many of us were losing businesses. You know, our minds, our energy, our health was under attack. Our money and families were under attack. Our minds were under attack. Listen, you could not have experienced, and you'll probably never again experience more of a vicious attack than what many of you just went through. But you know what that means? Not only are better days coming, my friends. Hey, the word liberty. Liberty means the state of being free without society, within society, free in society, without oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. I'm going to read it again for the people in the balcony. Okay? I'm going to read it again, and I'm going to grab me a little more Dr. Pepper. All right? Because I've been doing good, and whatever good is. Jesus said, man, don't call me good. He's like, I ain't good. Don't call me good. You say you shouldn't drink Dr. Pepper? You're right. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Or maybe I should. Or maybe I would. Or maybe I could. But I can tell you this. How you doing? Earl, how you doing? Oh, come on, Earl in the house. It's time for you to jump back on. What about Thursday? What about Friday? You jumping on, Earl? I miss you, bub. I saw your tweet and the fish. I thought it was spiritual to see the fish. I thought, man, God's speaking to me through that picture. Guys, let me ask you a question. The Pledge of Allegiance, doesn't it not end with liberty and justice for all? That means every child. That means every father. That means every mother. That means every college student. That means every animal. That means liberty and justice for all. I mean, do you guys not know what the word all means out here? Hey, I know you went through 16 years of college and school, but do you know what the word all means? Did you by chance learn this? Did anybody out here learn what the word liberty and justice for all means? Wow, the word liberty actually means, I actually lived in a city called Liberty when I left Bible college. That's spiritual. It means the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. How much has our government imposed on us, we the people, we divine, holy, chosen, royal, sovereign humans? Human what? Beings. You focus so much on the human part, you don't realize your last name is a species. Your first name is human. Your last name is being. And the only thing I'm asking for is for you to return to being human. Get it? Reverse it. Human being will be human. Or you can't be a human being until you learn how to be human. That we need to become human. We need to become natural. We need to return to nature, to the forest, to the sea, to the mountains, to the sunshine, to the stars at night. Hey, who even goes out at night and misses out on the frequencies of the night? Who purposely sets their alarm and masters waking up at 3 a.m., the angel and what they say, the witch hour, huh? Who knows the power of 3 a.m. wake-up calls and 3 a.m. wake-ups? You're not randomly wake up because you got to pee. You're not randomly waking up because you need to go check the fridge and get a snack or get something to drink. Many of you are being woken up. Many of you are, your ancestors, your angels are pulling you out to, because when you pray, you create. When you speak, you create. Prayer is creation. Prayer is manifestation. And you ever want to learn manifestation, you can't learn manifestation without prayer. You can't even learn manifestation without the ways and teachings of Jesus. But let's start with liberty, my friends. You guys are getting in the same time. That's awesome. That's great. Well, that's what you call a good old-fashioned. I got my boy Mark Beeman dropping some fire emojis, YouTube. Where's your fire emojis? Hey, over here on Instagram, you're not dropping many fire emojis like Marcus. Where you at? Jimmy Snell, how you doing? I'm going to end it with this, guys. I'm not going to end it because I don't want it to end. I want it to begin. Listen, I'm going to close it. Let's do that. I'm going to close it with this. Is there anything that I started a story and didn't finish? Is there anything you wanted me to cover that I started to talk about? A question I didn't get to? Anybody? Lisa, I know you asked a lot of questions I wasn't ignoring. I wasn't ignoring any of you. Good morning, Dawn. Misty, we got John Fulmer over here. He's a warrior. Y'all follow that one, Johnny Fulmer. He's a good one. How you doing? It's good to see all you guys connecting out here. That's my goal. I'm here to connect you to you. I'm here to connect you to you. I'm here to connect you to each other. I'm here to connect you to Mother Earth. And I'm here to connect you back to yourself and back to the kingdom and back to Jesus and back to the supernatural and back to a world of freedom. Freedom, 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 not freedom, freedom. You ready? Liberty means the power to act as one pleases. Ready? So we're supposed to put our hand on our heart. And every day of my life, I don't know how our children, do they still say the Pledge of Allegiance in our schools? If they don't, I'm going to go batshit crazy if I find out they took that out too. I'm going to go batshit crazy if we no longer do even the honorable thing of standing up and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Guys, I grew up in a society where every morning I heard echoes of my classmates and my teachers standing there, and we all looked at the flag and we all said the Pledge of Allegiance. And it was ingrained in us that our nation is a free land and our nation the red, white, and blue is the land of the free, and we get liberty, and everybody here gets justice. No American experiences anything less than freedom and justice. Anything outside of freedom and justice on any, I don't care if it's this much land in America, if it's literally a foot of land, if there's 1 ounce of injustice or 1 ounce of a lack of freedom on the lands of America, it is a crime, it is wrong, it is anti-Constitution, it's anti our own flag, it's anti our all pledge of allegiance to what? The United States of America, not the United States, the United States of America, because that is what this is. It's a united lands of one land, one nation. Am I right? One nation, my friends. And this land has culture, and we are one. We are not Republican or Democrats. We are not black or white. We are human beings. We are sovereign beings. We are royal. We are chosen. And you ready for this? Boy, what an honor to be called this, an American. Imagine in history somebody referring to you as, oh, he's an American. Oh, she's an American. Boy, when I hear that, I don't want to use the word pride. I want to use the word honor. I want to use the word like, yes, ma'am, I am. Yes, ma'am, I am. And don't believe the media about America. This country has culture. This country has love. This country understands variety and understands respect. This country understands values and understands freedom, freedom, liberty. Liberty means the power to act as one pleases. That's a God-given, that's something our forefathers and every soldier loves and every veteran. That's something animals love freedom, children love freedom, plants love freedom. Doggone it. You love freedom, but let's live freedom. I'm changing it because it's not wisdom, it's wisdom. If you look at the spelling, it's not W-I-S-D-U-M. So why are you pronouncing it wisdom? It's not wisdom, it's wisdom. Because it's wise in your dome. You got to be wise in your dome here, okay? That's what wisdom is. So, knowledge, right? Know so you don't fall off the ledge. Knowledge. You don't want to believe because believe in the middle is lie. You want to know. You need to learn how to know. Jesus didn't say you'll believe the truth. He said you'll know it. Do you know it or do you believe it? If you believe it, you're lost. And I don't mean lost as in you're going to hell. I mean you're lost in your way right now. Okay? I just can't imagine an American. I can't imagine one school, one church, one house in America not having American flags. And I can't imagine schools not starting the morning with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance or affirmations. Do prayer, affirmations, do meditation. You know what? The fact that America doesn't have it a requirement for our kids to do meditation and chess, boy, that makes me nervous. Boy, you guys don't study China. Everybody wants to hate on China and not sit there and think, well, you're going to sit there and hate on them while they're going to sit there and they're going to have children that by the time they're 5 are more disciplined than our kids will ever think about being. You know, where's our discipline as Americans? Are we raising dumb kids? Or are we keeping our kids awake and alive and powerful and set free from the system and set free from the evil? What are we doing? Who are we? What are we? And then let's look up the word justice. I'll end it with liberty and justice for all. Pledge of allegiance to the flag. Boy, where's your allegiance to the flag? You know what? If you don't have allegiance to the flag, you're a fag. You're a fag. If you don't have allegiance to the flag, you're a fag. And I'm not talking about fag in the gay terminology. You're a fag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, the republic for which it stands. Do we stand as a nation or do we bow? I want to know. Are we standing as Americans or are we bowing? Is our government standing? Is our military standing? Is our police standing? Is our patriots standing? Is humans standing? Because we pledged that we would all stand one nation. Come on, think about it. One nation under God. Are we under God? Are we under God? Are you scared to be under God? Come on, somebody. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're going to mock the Pledge of Allegiance? You're going to make the Pledge of Allegiance no longer sacred? Don't words matter? If we say liberty and justice for all, don't we fight for that 24/7? Don't we demand it? Don't we stand for it? Don't we preach for it? Shouldn't it echo at every pulpit, every city hall meeting, every town hall meeting, every family meetup, every church meetup? People need to be talking, hey, our freedom out here, our freedom. Justice means justice for all. How much justice is there when is it just? Is it right? Is what we're doing as a nation just? Is it right? Meaning, guys, if you can just understand the simplicity of right and wrong, not from a religious standpoint, but as if we were here with no Bible, we were here with no teachers, and you know what? They all left us, and it's on us to recreate a new earth. And do we have the ability to be industrial, entrepreneurial, creative, grow our own food, get together and build tribes and communities? And, you know, do you guys even have the ability to win, to survive, even if all does shit the fan, even if all does whatever? Do you even have the ability to use your brain, your creativity? Do you have survival skills? I'm not talking about storing up basements of food. I'm not even talking about that. Some of you do that, and that's fine. But I'm talking if just there was all of a sudden, meaning, guys, humans are powerful. We have the most powerful creative abilities within us, and survival instincts and skills and knowledge and wisdom. You know what I'm saying? We have it. That's why Jesus was so nonchalant. He was like, oh yeah, if you believe, it'll happen. He's like, if you say it, it'll be done. And many times it would shock the people that were sick, because he would say, according to your faith, it'll be done. In other words, if you've got the faith, it'll happen. If you don't, it won't. Sorry. I know it hurts your feelings, but then you might sit there and say, well, I had faith and it didn't happen to me. Well, then that's where you need to also understand God's not a Santa Claus, and he doesn't owe us anything. Anything above burning in hell is a privilege. And the fact that we're even here experiencing life when people are dying and for their last breath, friends, we got to have some gratitude out here. We got to have some gratitude, so you know the attitude. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we got to have some gratitude so we know the attitude. Oh, we got to have some gratitude. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I mean, I really do have a lot to get done. I'm not going to say I have a lot to do. I have a lot to get done. Change your verbiage from a lot to do to a lot to get done. Or say, don't even say a lot. Just say, I've got things to get done today. I've got priorities to get done. Constantly recreate your words to more powerful, more concise. Constantly check. Coach and mentor yourself. Be your own coach. Be your own therapist. David said, I encourage myself in the Lord. You've got powers you don't realize you're not tapping into and using. You've got the power to literally counsel yourself. Sit yourself in a chair and imagine yourself sitting there, and what would the highest version of you tell yourself? What would you with unlimited money and unlimited power do in this situation? What would you do if you couldn't fail? What would you do if God wouldn't send you to hell? What would you do if God wasn't going to curse you? What would you do if God wasn't going to kill you? What would you do if God said, you know what? I'm giving you a white canvas and a whiteboard to create your future, and I'm giving you all the powers you need and all the power in nature, and it's up to you to get it done while you're here. What if we have responsibility? What if we have responsibility to utilize our words and our thoughts instead of just letting Satan control them in our phones and our movies and whatever, because we need to chill? A lot of times our need for rest has nothing to do with sleep. You need rest because your soul's not at rest. You know, they ever heard of that song, It Is Well With My Soul? It's got to become well with your soul, because you got a body, soul, and spirit. You're not just one. You have three unique pieces to you. Body, you got a soul, and you got a spirit, a personality, and energy. But you got a soul that's eternal. You got a soul that knows things, that's experienced things, that possesses, emotion, and possesses, a lot. You have a soul. Don't ever sell your soul. Don't ever lose your soul. I love you guys. Have the best day you've ever had in your life. Thanks for watching. Share this out. Stay tuned on Instagram for tomorrow morning. You ever want to come live? Let me know. You on good old YouTube. YouTube, don't sleep on YouTube. I hope I answered your questions. I hope I didn't hurt you or offend you or disappoint you. I sure didn't try. My intention and heart was so right.